Our guest on this episode of the podcast has been fishing the Northeast waters for over 25 years. He has experienced lobster fishing, gill netting, commercial sword fishing, and currently specializes in bluefin tuna fishing, both commercially and with charters. Our guest is a passionate and competitive fisherman, and he and his crew rank amongst the top giant tuna fishermen in New England. Over the past several years, our guest and his crew have been a part of National Geographic's Wicked Tuna aboard their 40-foot Duffy Fat Tuna and have held their own across the fleet. Not only is he an established fisherman, but he is also a successful entrepreneur. He currently owns a very popular pizza shop on the North Shore of Massachusetts, and he has several other irons in the fire in terms of business. Taylor and I had a lot of fun sitting down with this guest, a ton of great laughs, a ton of stories, both fishing related and non-fishing related. We talk about how to cook the perfect pizza. We talk about fishing on the bank together, side by side, reminisce about a few days from last season. And we get into a lot of technical talk too, a lot of technical fishing stuff. We talk about kite fishing, hooks. We go into a lot of, theory on how we think these fish move in our waters, how they migrate in, how they migrate out. It's a really, really good conversation. And we hope you guys enjoy this as much as we did. Without further ado, please welcome to the podcast, Captain Bob Cook and Fat Tuna Charters. Welcome to the SeaBros Fishing Podcast, where we follow 3 words of wisdom. You can't catch them if you don't have a hook in the water. Always trust your instincts. And the last, you'll just have to keep listening. Stay tight.
Yep, that's the one. That's the real one. Oh. Get up there, man. All right, get back down. Where's that real? We doubled up. We doubled up. All right. Am I coming off or what? Get that down. Don't get on that rock.
Priceless.
So, boys,
Yes.
it's winter
Been a
time.
while in the making.
It's winter time.
It's been a while in the making. I know. How long have we tried to do this for? A year?
No. 6 months?
Ah, we're fishing.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. I mean, we
It was
tried
before
last
fishing
spring,
season.
right?
Yeah.
Tried last spring. I forget what the heck happened. I think someone was sick in your house, or something like that.
Oh, no, Brian.
I had the Rona.
You had the Rona.
Is that what it
Blair
was?
had the Rona.
I moved. There was a lot going on.
Have you had the Rona yet?
Nope.
You
I don't
haven't.
think so.
Yeah.
But
I had it right at the beginning.
Did
it
ya?
sucked. Yeah.
yeah, it sounds like the beginning was definitely
March
the worst.
8th. We actually had March 1st, season 9, Wicked Tuna. We had the premiere at a bar, and we now call that the Super Spreader event because everybody I talked to about that night was sick after it, had Corona after that.
Wow.
That's before anybody knew what the hell Corona was.
Right.
So it's just
Definitely think it was
crazy.
around way before they, publicized it and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it was you and Dad and Mom and
Yeah, it was like
handful of people were
November
wicked
time.
your old man had it.
everyone got
just
sick.
We'll never know if he truly had it because he
pretty much
hibernates in the fucking basement.
Always has
Won't
it.
get
I'm gonna
tested
put
or
this a
anything.
little bit.
Does he? Oh, I was doing this maneuver. Oh, all right, cool.
He's doing the Manny maneuver. The Manny distance.
That would be this. That would be this.
Triple hander.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
So, speaking of the old man, how is he doing?
He's good.
Is he good?
Yeah, he's good. He the cardiac cocktail that he's on is kind of kicking his ass a little bit, but
Tired.
he's tired a lot.
Just means it's working.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But no, he's in good shape.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
I truly look at him as like OG. I do. He's one of them. I
Yeah.
mean, he's been in this game for how long?
A long time. I mean, he grew up.
30?
How old is he? 61?
30
40?
years, but like
30 years chartering, but over 40
Not his own
years,
boat,
like
though.
tuna fishing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, I mean, we got our first boat in 2005, 4. Our first charter boat,
correct. 2004.
4.
And
then
Mass
he
Bay
was
Guides started in '99.
balls to the walls from
You're
from
kidding
there.
me.
Yeah,
You did.
And
Wow.
then he was fishing before that with a few guys out of Green Harbor and Tom and
Dude, I feel old today because we're like, oh yeah, 2004, but that feels like it was like
Dude,
Oh,
that
buddy.
was 26 years ago, right?
2003 is
28
when
years
I
ago?
started.
16 years ago.
16 years ago. Sorry. I was thinking
Pretty good
94.
math, though.
Yeah, that was
Not bad.
close. I was like 10 years off.
Buddy, none of you are old. Go screw yourself. 49 right here.
Are you 49? You don't look
Wow.
Yeah. This just happened this year, right
the
here.
gray.
The gray, the receding hairline just happened.
Dude, receding fucking.
You got a
He says,
while
he
to
says
go
receding
before you-
hairline.
He's got like
God
the
damn.
perfect scalp. He's wearing a hat
Yeah,
all time.
he's got like perfect fucking bangs going, and he's 49, 35. And it's
Oh,
like,
I'm telling you, man.
I
no.
got the horseshoe going on the back of my head.
You guys wear it well.
Yeah, we
You wear
try.
it well.
You know. So I don't know if you've listened to kind of our style of this, but it kind of is casual.
I have, and I like that approach.
Good.
I have. You guys
we
do a
have
good
we have
job.
bullet points, but it's always like a process.
It's kind of like 3 phases.
Right.
Phase 1 is random questions, tangent, talk
Yep.
about whatever, and we have like 8 solid questions. Some are funny, some are like kind of technical, and then we go into like kind of your story.
Nice.
And then we wrap it up with like really technical
good
stuff,
fishing
like
questions.
All right.
stuff that only us will probably ever be able to ask each other. Right? You know?
I get it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But just right off the rip, we ask everyone this question: do you have any fishing superstitions?
I mean, there's the obvious, right? So bananas.
Yeah.
So, and it all kind of goes to charters. And if they show up with bananas, which happens so much.
Literally, like I
It's
think
ridiculous.
everyone.
It's common.
ridiculous.
Almost everyone.
It's a common event.
Right.
And I mean, really, that's the only one I pay a ton of attention to, but I've got OCD like you do. So really, like my superstitions are if I don't do things in a proper order, then I'm all screwed up
You're
for
off
the
your
day.
game.
I'm totally off my game.
Yeah.
So if things, like I'm an organizational freak. So if things aren't organized on board,
Right.
I might as well not go fishing for that day. It gets in my head. But
Yeah.
also I have a horseshoe on board. Have a literal horseshoe on the boat.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where is it
So-
in the boat?
And I bought the boat with it. I found it on that
What?
boat.
Really?
Yeah. I found it in a random drawer.
No
And
way.
so it hasn't left that drawer. It left that
That's a
drawer
cool
maybe
thing to
twice.
do, actually. Like if you're ever going to sell
It
your
is.
boat and it was
It
a good
is.
boat, just put a horseshoe in it. Like
Good
the
omen.
next buyer would be totally amped up to get
The new
that.
boat's going to have a horseshoe.
That's
I
cool.
have to buy a nice horseshoe.
Are you going to call it horseshoe? Or you got to keep it fat tuna.
Jeez. No, actually, that'd be a great name for a boat.
Horseshoe?
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. But no, it's going to be fat tuna for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. You know how it goes, man. You gotta. I hate to even think of it this way, but you kind of have to.
Yeah, you do.
Branding. You know what I mean? So it has to be the Fat Tuna brand.
Right.
You guys get it.
Yep.
SeaBros brand, MBG brand, all that stuff. So you wouldn't want to change anything. It has to be Fat Tuna.
Yeah.
Has to be.
It's a great name.
Yeah.
It is.
Horseshoe is also a great name, though.
And
that's
I'll tell
going
you-
in the back pocket right there.
Yeah. And they, people ask, how'd you come up with a name? And it was like, it was so simple. Like they're looking for this extravagant answer.
Right.
And it's like, oh, we just fish for fat tuna every day. So I figured Fat Tuna, great name. And they're like, oh, that's it. Cool. And they move on.
But it's catchy.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
people like it.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's nothing much to
So
it.
basically, bananas.
Basically bananas.
Okay.
And I guess you would call it bananas in my typical OCD per
Yeah.
day. So yeah. So it's
Funny.
yeah.
To dovetail into your OCD, what about pet peeves on the boat?
Messy.
Messiness?
Yeah. If
You must love charters.
So I think when they get on the boat. So yeah, if we start to gather trash or gear or their belongings in a certain area, like when they get on board, I'm like, belongings go down forward. If they bring on big coolers too, that makes me absolutely nuts.
With the giant wheels on them.
With the giant
That's the
wheels.
best.
And generally, when I say bring soft coolers, they bring 3 hard coolers.
Yeah.
So now I'm transferring everything. But I don't want to kind of get in a tangent where I get pissed off at charters.
Right.
Like we all have
They just
our little
don't know.
pet
They've
peeves.
never
They just
done
don't
it.
know.
Yeah.
And they're so professional and they just want to please when they get there. So
Right.
whatever I say, they're going to do. But then, so pet peeves, I guess, would be messiness. I guess, we are, again, organizational freaks. So if it's not in the right place, then again, I can't even fish. So it's if I look around and things are not in the place where I normally have them, that's a gigantic pet peeve.
Right.
If I can't put my hand right on it, then it's not in the right place.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is like with charters, you got to, if you can control it, it's not a big deal. If you can kind of, you don't have to be aggressive after it. Like there's times that people literally take like empty cans and just tuck them behind the coolers.
I love finding
like
hidden
in
trash,
cup holders,
like hidden Cheez-It bags with like just enough crumbs in it. And when you pull it out of like the crack of like
like
the
solidified
seat that it's wedged into, it just like dust falls out.
My other thing is I've got a sign behind the toilet that says "Do not use toilet paper." Do use toilet paper. Sorry.
Do not use paper towel.
Do not put it in the toilet.
Yeah. Okay.
And 1 out of every 3 puts it in the toilet, and I say, "Did you read the sign?" They say, "Yeah, I read the sign." Oh, so the bag next to, so it says it right on the back of the toilet. It says, "Do not put toilet paper in the toilet. Any marine disposal cannot handle anything but human waste." So they read that and they go, "Oh, it's a great sign." I go, "All right, well, cool. Where'd you put the toilet paper?" "Oh, it's in the toilet." So, what? So they
doesn't even register.
No, it doesn't even register. They're like, "Great sign, but I plugged your toilet." So I guess that would be another pet peeve, right? I guess as we're going here, I'm going to think of about 10.
That's fine. Just inject pet peeves throughout this whole conversation.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yep.
But I mean, that's the thing too, is that we love our charters. We love almost every group. I mean, they're the best.
Right.
But you also get the best stories out of them because it's always, a lot of times it's their first time.
Right.
So the stories we get out of that.
Hilarious.
Oh my God. Those adventures are the best.
Yeah.
I love watching you guys' videos when you pan around and you see the one guy just totally passed out and the other guy green and sick. And it's like, oh my God, that's my daily adventure.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you got to film that stuff because people don't. Everyone thinks it's they're the only one that it happens to. But it's literally every single trip. There's somebody sleeping on the way out, sleeping on the way in.
Oh, yeah.
Or everybody, like we make the bed every morning. I'm like, every single one of you, when they start popping drama me, I said, you're all gonna be asleep at some point today. And they're like, no way, I'm hardcore. I never sleep on a boat. And 1 o'clock,
swallowing their tongue.
And you hope it's from being tired,
Right.
From reeling
Fighting
in
a fish,
fish.
yeah.
But a lot of times it's because of just complete boredom.
Oh yeah,
And that's a
100%,
bummer.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. I mean, the amount of pressure we put on ourselves to deliver for these high-paying customers, and it's bad. It's bad. I go home some days and you don't even want to charge them, but you know the work you put in, you know the effort it takes, you know the fuel you burn, and you know your mate has to make money, but you feel bad. But they know the game. Right. They realize that this is tuna fishing. You hope, anyways. And I do think that the show has helped in that regard.
You think it has helped? That was my next question. Like, has it set expectations too high, or
I think some people,
sometimes, yeah, definitely. But then I always make it a point to say, listen, guys, there is 1/1,000,000th of the time that they spend filming out here that you'll get an action shot. That's all they use. It's the other 100,000 minutes that we're waiting. And they're like, really? It's like, well, you'll see. You'll see, And
right.
I'm sure you guys explain it all day long. It's 9 hours of boredom for an hour of the
Chaos
most thrilling ride you've ever had in your entire life.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's why we have an OG.
Yeah.
Stands up on the roof and he tells jokes the entire day.
Storm Petrel. You ever seen him standing on the roof?
Your old man does that?
If you look at us in your binoculars or whatever on Middlebank at some point next year, you'll see him standing on the top of the roof, and he's just like orchestrating the
No,
whole
I
thing,
have to see that. I can't believe I haven't seen this.
I got some videos of. You go to our Instagram. There's some like him wearing the freaking safari hat and like all kinds of shit.
I've never.
He's
seen
the
this.
entertainer for sure.
Oh
Yeah.
You guys fish Middlebank?
Yeah,
Yeah, we've
I
never
had no
been.
idea. I had no idea. I didn't know. I had no idea. Doesn't everybody now, though?
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's bad. It's a new Southwest corner.
Oh, God. Funny thing is, I hardly ever see you guys on the Southwest corner.
We used to go there a good amount, and then that turned into
7-8 years ago, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I did not fish the Southwest corner one time this year.
I did once.
Past season. And you caught one.
And I caught one in an hour, and then I never went back.
Wow.
Swear to God.
Yeah.
True story.
I don't think I did this year. I don't know. We didn't fish the southwest corner. We did not fish the southwest.
It was good. I mean, the weird thing this year with the southwest corner, the bait definitely, we're getting wicked tangent. But whatever.
I don't
the
care.
bait definitely shifted big time. I mean, there was weeks on the corner that there was like nothing. And then it would just storm in there and be good tuna fishing for a couple weeks, and then, you know,
Bait
wasn't
size,
like
bait size also
Middlebank always has the bait, you know.
correct.
I heard the southwest corner this year was very small bait.
It was,
And
yeah.
that's just no good.
Right.
They'll stick, they'll move.
Yeah.
They'll move to Middlebank where
Right.
the size is, and the vast majority of the bait is. You're right.
Right.
But,
Or they'll stay and your shit's just gonna fish like garbage for most of the day.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
What's the next one, Bri? We're gonna move along
you
on
got?
the questions.
Yeah.
Or we'll just,
All right.
No way. Tangents and superstition.
In your opinion, this is a total topic change, but in your opinion, what is essential for making a good pizza?
no, this is like
what's-
this is real life
Yeah.
discussion right now.
Yeah.
Because like I just made probably my third pizza ever my entire life, like this week.
Yeah.
And then we're interviewing you. So this is perfect. So I need to
this
know
is
like
perfect.
I need to know like step by step what's like the homemade way, the perfect way, the secrets to making a pizza.
Do you have a good pan? Number one.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to
right.
use?
So, well,
Don't
number
give
one-
out all your secrets.
Yeah, no. The
Like,
only
key
big
bullet
secret
points.
is my sauce. The only big secret is my sauce, because it's a sweet sauce, and we have like one or two things that we'll never tell anybody. So, but then, as you know, Weber loves our pizza. Did you know that?
I will
didn't know
quote,
that. Yeah.
quote Jeff Weber. It is the best pizza he's ever had.
I mean, and this
what he told
this
me.
is like listening to almost like Barstool pizza review. Like,
Yeah.
he only eats pizza, cookies,
chicken fingers,
chicken fingers,
And
and steak tips.
pasta, and venison.
Basically 6 things.
So he's 12.
Yeah.
correct.
Does he drink like just Coca-Cola?
And Kool-Aid, probably.
Oh no, he switched to like the squirt drops into the water.
Right.
Yeah, like the vitamin
he is into that
caffeine.
now.
It's kind of
He's changed, dude.
big time.
He's changed big time the last year.
So I have to do some research, because I don't exactly know how to do a proper home pizza. 'Cause
Okay.
ours is high heat, and
Right.
it's on a really nice kind of black iron skillet type pan, one that can handle high heat, because we're at 650 degrees. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. So even heat around the pizza is gigantic, or else you're going to overcook the top, and then the bottom's going to be undercooked, because you got that pan.
tip.
Right? Yeah. So a lot of times, high heat, take it off the pan and put it direct. Once the bottom is kind of hard, put it right on the grill inside the oven. What are you using in there?
I'm using like one of those pizza sheets with the holes, like the perforated holes. I don't even know if they are pizza sheets.
You'll be fine with that. You'll be
Okay.
fine. Stay with that, because it has
Okay.
the holes. I use the ones that have no holes. That's why I have to take it off.
All right.
You'll be fine with that then. So you're gonna have to kind of find the balance of heat. Is it gas? Or
No,
is
it's electric.
It's electric.
Yeah, convection, regular.
That's actually a little bit better, because a
Okay.
lot of times the gas heat the bottom, and it just becomes totally burnt, and then the top is undercooked.
This is a good conversation. I like
Yeah,
this.
so I mean, it's like the balance is just how you're going to cook it. It's going to take you 12, 13, 14 to realize how to do it exactly right in that oven. But I mean, a little bit of oil in the pan. Do you do that?
I do.
All right, good.
I'm doing good so far.
Are you buying?
I'm buying
dough
like
balls?
the pre-made, whatever they are, like the pizza
ball.
dough ball that
Yep,
you just literally
yep.
unroll and put it on the pan.
Oh yeah.
There's a thin crust. There's a thick crust.
Are you perforating that?
No.
All right, so
What?
that's huge. All right, so what you do is you take a roller or just a fork, and you perforate that so
Okay.
that the air goes through it, so that the heat goes through it. And the
So
air
you want
goes
it to go
through it.
through the dough.
Yep. So just little holes all the way around that dough, and then, and then 100% of the dough has to be covered with sauce,
All the way out to the edge of the.
all the way out to the edge, yeah, or else it's just going to be dry and
No way. Even the crust?
all the way out to the edge. Well, unless you like a big crust. I hate a big crust.
I like
Interesting.
consistent, like level crust. Therefore,
do
I think
I.
I like sauce to the edge.
Exactly.
And I'm a sauce guy, so I
That
I
doesn't mean you have to
appreciate that.
cheese to the edge.
Yeah,
Right?
correct.
So you just kind of do it
So
like
sauce to
half
the
inch,
edge, cheese, half inch.
half inch.
Okay.
Yeah. because that's going to melt and sort of cover
What
it.
about the cheese? Like, what's a good store-bought
100% mozzarella.
Okay.
Has to be. No blend, because that's the Greek style.
Okay.
And we don't like that style. I love Greek people. I do not like their pizza. So,
Awesome.
yeah, that's always a blend. And we use like 700 pounds of cheese a week in the pizza.
Holy shit.
Oh yeah, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts.
Wow.
So we use a crazy amount on there. I mean, that's why our pizza's good. But
Yeah.
I spend so much money on that. So much. And
I think that makes it, though.
Sure,
It
it's like
does make-
anything. It's all about the ingredients.
oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, a blend is just no good. That's why you get all that oil on the top. so that
That's why I get the
mozzarella.
oil.
Yeah.
I always thought they like put oil on it.
no,
That's
no,
from the
no,
cheese.
It comes out in the blend. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's
Interesting.
Yeah. That's the Greek style.
Cool.
Yeah. But then it's just trial and error.
Yeah.
You know, like tuna fishing.
Or just a lot of error.
Yeah.
Lots of error with a little bit of goodness. That's awesome. That was a fun one.
Yeah. That was a good question, T. I like that.
They blended together a little bit.
Don't over perforate it either. Just
A little bit.
We have a roller that we roll over the whole thing.
Wow.
But we don't have the holes in the pan.
Okay.
So a little bit, just
Yeah.
a little bit
Huh.
through. Yeah.
What's
What
next?
you got?
We're going back to fishing stuff now.
Boring.
What's the weirdest thing you found inside or attached to a fish?
Inside or attached to a fish. Okay. Well, the attached part. George's Bank, 6 hooks in a mouth.
Wow.
6 hooks.
Wow.
And I swear they were from that very day. I swear they were. Actually, I caught one with Jordy with 3 hooks.
Really?
And yeah, Jordy and I, that might have been one of my biggest fish. I have not caught a grander yet, by the way. That was 920. So
close.
Yeah, that was
Gutted?
close.
Got it or
No.
Okay.
whole. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that's just a guess. It could have been more. Probably was more. Let's say it was more. That was a grander.
That was 100% 1,000 pounder.
Inside a fish, half a 5-gallon bucket cover, half of a cover. So, and that was like, you could tell it had been in there for a long time because
Yeah.
it was like
Remember
the
what
edges.
color it was?
Yeah, it was red.
Was it?
It was red. Yeah, it was red, and the edges, jagged edges, but they were all rounded, so it had been in there and just breaking down from
Right.
stomach acid. So, yeah.
6 hooks is nuts. Were they all? This
was
is a weird
nuts.
one. Were they all in the same corner? Or
No,
almost
they were
all in the same
all
corner?
over the place.
Okay.
Well, no, I'm sorry. So there was 4 near the corner, 2 that were in the latch, 2 that were beside the latch. Look at me like pointing all over my mouth. But 1 was center. So let me see, 4, 5, and then 1 was close to the latch on the other side.
But most of them were on one side.
Most of them were one side for sure. Yeah.
We have a theory that we've been
Because
talking
they
about.
bite baits a lot of times, and they slough off the
same way,
I swear they slough off the same way.
Yeah.
So yeah. In other words, run the same
Right.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come out of the turn, run the same way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we
It's like
think
us.
we
We have
think the same thing.
Yeah. We have a tendency to.
Right.
I don't know.
I was just looking just at down rod bites from this year, and
Mm-hmm.
almost every single one ate and went
Left.
So looking back at the back of the boat, went left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost every one,
And probably hooked up in the right side.
Yeah.
Yep.
which is interesting.
Well, that's what you hope they do anyway. I mean,
Right.
that's 100%
With circles,
picture
yeah.
perfect. So, why are you using circles
We
on
are
the
using
down?
circles, yeah.
Wow.
Circles and
Wow.
everything.
Everything.
That's a good question.
I say wow.
You asked that next question.
I say wow, but we basically do the same thing.
Yeah.
And we all should be using a J hook on that down.
Yeah,
But
I know.
I just don't. I like the circles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the next one, right? Circle hooks or J hooks. First thing that comes to mind. What do you like? What do you use? What do you?
Yeah, so we use 7/0 Super Mutus, 8/0 Super Mutus. We went for years using 9/0 live baits, J hooks, right? So again, we're all circles now. 7s, 8s, 10s or 11s on a 11s on a bluefish. I want to try your Charlie Brown hooks. I gotta try those because you guys love them.
Mutus
J-
are good though.
J
Mutus are
hooks in stick baits.
Yep.
Yeah. So as big as we can get in there. So as you know, with a herring, bigger is not always better because you can't hide it. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what about you guys with sticks? Do you use still circles?
We kind of do sticks a little bit differently. Like we don't hide or hook. We just rig them and then hook them.
So
just
why
like
not?
Live bait.
So why not a circle?
The
Right
exact
at that
same
point.
way.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
Same drag, same,
Don't do anything different. Really.
slacking the top shot to the tether. Everything's exactly the same.
I swear to God, we overthink the hell out of it, and that's just again, I'll say it a million times. That's just tuna fishing.
We also
you get in your own head.
We also, I would say, like overall, we maybe fish sticks like. There may be like 5 or 10% of our baits that are on the hook most
Throughout
of the time,
the year.
Throughout the year.
Well, I mean, when there's any bycatch, which there has been, especially mid-bank, a whole heck of a lot of it, you know, dogfish.
Yeah.
I don't even like to say the word, but they're, oh, God.
Yeah.
So stick baits are just completely out of,
Right.
You just can't use them.
We'll just rig like a handful and basically for the morning, or if we don't have herring or, you know, whatever, that's when we'll deploy it. Or if like you're clearly seeing them on the machine, not fucking a lot.
Grease column or whatever.
I mean, if we can use them, we always have one down. Always have one down. But I just think that tuna have just become so lazy and they don't want to chase. And there's a lot of bigger fish around. And, you know, a lot of times when we have that one on the down bait, that's the one that's going to get bit.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. I mean, but, you know, you just see them on the screen chase around a livey and then they go. And you go, God damn, if that was a stick, it would have got bit.
Yeah.
And down goes the stick, and then here comes the bycatch.
Yeah, I know.
It's just like,
bad.
It's just such a pain in the ass.
It really is.
And we fished Chatham quite a bit this year, and you could not put a stick bait down. It was
Really?
just Shark City. Just Shark City. So,
What kind of just every type of shark?
mostly poor beagles.
Really?
Yeah.
It's an insane amount of poor beagles now. Huh?
Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just and they were huge. Just these gigantic ones. And
Yeah.
they wouldn't wait. You'd put a bait down in 1 minute, maybe 1.5 minutes, they were on it. You know, it was just nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a real pain in the ass down there. You want to talk about losing gear? That's the place.
Yeah. Middlebank was bad for a month, basically. Horrible with the sharks. But
Was that August or
August.
Yeah,
But if you
yeah.
fought through them, there's a lot of tunas there.
Yeah.
Same
Right.
as probably Chatham, right?
We went through a lot of gear.
Yeah, like a couple days we go through 1 or 2 skeins of fluoro a day easily.
wow?
You know.
We had a couple
Suck.
days where we had like the Northeast Shark Grand Slam right there.
Yeah.
Pressure, Mako, Poor Beagle, Blue Shark.
You know, if that's a charter, that's pretty
cool.
awesome.
Jack-
yeah,
They had a
yeah,
blast.
That's pretty
Dad
awesome.
had one. I think Shadow was mating for him. They had that exact catch, and they had like 4 kids and their dad or something on the boat. They were absolutely stoked.
You know, I've said it so many times that charters, a lot of times we go out there and we tuna fish, right? And they get more excited. Like we'll catch tuna and
Yeah.
we'll stick around and, you know, we'll fish because a lot of times when you get one in the morning, you're like, wow, they've paid really good money here and they
Right.
don't look like they want to go home. So we'll try for a small one or we'll try for a shark. There's more excitement out of the sharks than there is the tuna. It's
know.
just insane.
They beat the
It's-
crap out of everything.
They do.
Destroy your boat.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Gel coats
yeah.
destroyed. You got a layer of bunker slime on the deck all the time.
gross, yeah.
Pulling the chum bucket in
Absolutely.
and out of the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind it every once in a while, but not for me.
It's funny the couple times that we've like got way away from the fleet but stayed on the western edge to try to get a cool shark. We've actually put a chum bucket out a few times the past few years. It's never good.
Like between the mid-bank and
Yeah, like if
southwest
there's
corner.
no one
yeah.
in a certain area,
Yep.
like kind of south of everybody, north
Yep.
of everybody, we'll set up a slick if someone wants to really try to get a cool shark. And we've never, I mean, we haven't done it a ton. We've probably done it a handful of times.
And it's only when you want one.
Maybe 1 or 2
Yeah.
blue sharks, maybe,
Yeah.
you know, but it's not like you don't get the cool stuff.
I know. It's crazy. Well, you guys have that spot too. It's like east of the southeast corner out there with the bumps right there where you can just put out a ground fish. You'll get a shark like every time.
Yeah, it's good
Just
there.
right there by the
Yep.
shipping lanes,
Yep.
basically.
A lot of cod, which kind of can be the problem, but
But
good
it's
and
beautiful
bad.
shark bait.
Right,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
That we don't use for
We
bait.
don't use those at all for a shark. It's when you're reeling them up. That's what it is.
That's when they
you're
bite.
ready to release. That's when they bite.
Exactly.
You don't put them on that. Anyways, moving on.
What is your favorite spot or area to fish for bluefins?
I mean, we've talked about mid-bank ad nauseum, right? Already. And I know we will, and that's probably number 2 on my list. We love Southern Jeffries. High ground in Southern Jeffries, when that's good, is just the best fishing around. 130 feet of water, 150 in and around there. You don't really fish the edge. You're just right on top. And when they come through, they feed hard. I know you guys haven't fished there too much.
No.
I fished there a little bit a couple of years ago, like when it was good in September, October.
2014,
Yeah,
15,
yeah.
16. It was just, I'll never forget those days when we could catch multiple fish, keep multiple fish. And that's always in the back of my mind. Like someday it's going to be like that again.
Right.
We all know it's never going to be that again. I mean, we're going to be 1 or 2 fish a day here until we all die. So, and I'm okay with that, but I do miss those days.
Yeah.
And that was just sick. You put out baits, 12, 13, 14 pull, and you just wait. It's just awesome. You knew you were going to get bit. The confidence level was so high.
Sick.
So high.
Love that fishing.
Herring,
Yeah.
all liveys, no
Right.
stick
No
baits,
bycatch.
no work, and you just put a bit. They took them out of your hands on that far floater. It was just awesome. It was epic. You lose one, you're like, screw it. I'm just gonna get bit again here. Put another one out, you get bit. It was almost always to that mid floater, far floater. Down bait, somewhat, but they just kind of
ate the first bait that they saw.
Exactly.
Probably,
Yeah. But that's so that would be number 1, and it's only because, again, I mean, in my experience, that's where we've had the most success, and of course, that's going to be a favorite,
Right. Favorite spot.
Yeah, and I love a challenge, but when it's less of a challenge, and you know that you're going to get bit, it's always nicer.
We've had some waves of that, but not. It never seems consistent.
Right. Right. Listen, it's been tough fishing. Like last year, that was kind of tough fishing.
Yeah.
At the end there, September, October.
Hard.
It was hard. You bring charters out, like I said before, you get that tremendous amount of pressure and on you know what I mean, as the captain, as the person running the show, and it's just like, I can't believe they're not here. This is the fall.
Right.
This is like the best fishing in the world in the fall, and it just wasn't. It wasn't.
Yeah.
You knew they were there-ish, but
I think a bunch of fish moved in with that big biomass of pogies. And they got dialed on that down in the bay. And then we never saw like a refresh.
that's right.
Through September and October. And then we saw a refresh in November and December.
Yeah, when half
That-
3/4 of the boats were out of the water.
boats-
When I was out,
Yeah.
I mean, it's the 1 year in the past 15 that I hauled early. And of course, this
We did
happened.
too, yeah.
Right? Yeah. But I don't know.
I was looking at some of
You
those
never
pictures,
know.
and I was in my pajamas and slippers,
Yeah, the
looking
next-
at pictures of
the
people
thing
in
is-
Santa outfits.
and Christmas trees in the rod holder.
Oh my god!
The thing is, you just the weather though that time of year. It's like you end up in the red so fast as a
it's
charter
not
business
good.
if it's not good.
Well, yeah. And yeah, I will not do charters that time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in November and December, I honestly think it's just unsafe up here. And, bigger boat, doesn't matter. I just think if you hit the water, our own safety is extremely important, myself and my mates, you guys too, but mostly the customers, man. It's almost like you want them to sign a liability waiver before they get on board. And I don't know, I just don't think it's worth it. So if we're not going commercial, we're not going at all. We're not taking charters. We're not doing it. But I say that now.
Most people
but
are doing that.
Yeah.
I think so.
You get a couple of like hardcore clients that fish with you 10 or so times a year. You might bring out there or whatever, but
Nice day.
If it's 1 or 2 people that you can really keep an eye on and not overcrowd back there, I mean, that's when it becomes unsafe. It's when there's 5, 6, 8 guys, leaning over the side, kind of want to see that fish coming up.
Standing
I
on
don't
the
blame 'em.
harpoon basket.
Dude. Yeah.
the social aspect in that weather too is different. Like you're not going bringing a cooler of beers and hanging out. Like you have to pay attention
Hardcore.
the entire day, whether you're an angler, captain, guest, whatever. It's no joke that time of year.
I agree.
I'm jealous a little bit. Wish we could fish it more, but
I don't know.
I
is what
get
it is.
so jealous. I was pretty proud of myself this year, though. The years past, I had to be the one out there. This year, I could kind of see the action and be like, good for you.
Yeah.
You're putting in your time. Good for you.
Right.
But, I mean, next year won't be like that. The boat will be in the water.
Be frothing.
Yeah.
Who was kind of your fishing mentor growing up, and how did you get into this whole game? Give us the kind of the from getting into it, whoever got you into it, to now filming season 9, 10, Wicked Tuna,
11.
11,
Yeah, right.
whatever it is
Yeah,
now.
we just finished 11.
That's awesome.
My mom was the one. She was such a good fisher woman. I guess you would call it fisherman, whatever. But she was, I grew up, I'm the youngest of 7. And we grew up, I have no idea to this day how my parents afforded it on one income. My dad worked in a factory, which I actually worked in for 15 years. But they bought a boat, and they were at Cape Marina when I was like 8 years old until I was about 13. And so I used to see the tuna fishermen come in. This is 1972, so it was around 1982, somewhere around there, 80, 82. I used to see the tuna fishermen come in with tuna, and I was just in absolute awe of them. And I said, one day, I want to do that. And that turned into me working on lobster boats out of Beverly. So when I was 13, I said to my parents, I want to work on a lobster boat. And they kind of looked at me and laughed. They knew just how hard a work that is. And they said, there's no way you're going to last. And so my mentor was my mom, but then it also became this guy named Lyle Smith. That was the first guy I ever met who was a lobsterman. I used to see them all leave the dock, but I never met any of them. And he was late leaving the dock one day. It was like 7:30 in the morning. I walked down there and I said, would you mind if I came out with you for the day? And he said, well, I have to ask your parents, of course. I said, well, they're up in the parking lot. Went out with him for the day, and that's really just when salt water just started running through my veins. From that, I worked inshore lobstering, and then that became offshore lobstering. I was out there 10, 11, 12 days at a time on an offshore lobster boat.
That's awesome.
That was when I was 15, 16, 17. All the while striper fishing, commercially, cod fishing commercially, jigging with Lyle Smith. He actually ran boats for Bobby Brown, the Andrea Gale, the guy who owned the Andrea Gale. Mm-hmm. He never ran that boat, but he ran a boat called the Sea Star for him offshore. But he is a legend, Lyle Smith. So that was pretty much my mom. I learned how to fish from, and then that kind of turned into other sort of mentor types like Lyle, and and then. Geez, I mean, if you want me to keep going, I mean, I could tell you the whole.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And then, so I was, like I said, commercial striper fishing, commercial cod fishing, lobstering at the same time. Then I started working for where my dad worked at a factory, and I worked nights, 2 on, 2 off. And my days off, I would go and I would striper fish commercially still. And then I started to see tuna, just something off in the distance behind Halfway Rock. I was inside, always in the deep water, fishing for stripers. All the guys used to fish inshore around the islands. I liked this one spot in 180 feet of water, offshore a little bit, a couple of miles out. And I kept seeing these splashes, these torpedoes in the water. And was around 2003, 4, something like that, when I first got my eye on my first tuna. I went flying out there. So what the heck is that? Yeah. And it was small tuna, 30, 40, 50 pounders. I went, how in the world are these things in here? I've never seen it before,
Right.
I started chasing the smaller ones. That turned into a charter business. Quit my job, bought the pizzeria with fishing money, and had a few other irons in the fire, some multi-families and stuff like that. But then small tuna turned into big tuna, and I forget what year that was. But when I first caught my first giant, I want to say it was around it was around 2004, something like that.
That's when you had the center console and stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a 32. I think it was around 2004, something like that. No. At that point, I had a 24 Pro line.
Gotcha.
But yeah, and here we are.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more detail kind of in there, but
Right.
yeah, I mean, it just, I was always doing some sort of fishing pretty much all my life, but it really just started at Cape Ann Marina. I mean, these guys used to, the Asians would meet the tuna fishermen at the dock and literally bid on them up in the warehouse, up in the barn, we called it, at Cape Ann Marina. They'd stand there and they'd bid on tuna. My sister and I would run up there, age 8, 9, 10, and just watch it and just be in awe. It was just so cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hand
I
line.
wish it was still like that.
Yeah, my God, yeah. That would be nice.
It'd be nuts.
Get a check right there.
Exactly. That's cool. You're actually Frank Pitton, his fishing mentor was his mother as well.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's really cool.
I remember my mom being out in the harbor right in front of Gloucester, as through the cut, just right out there. You guys know where it is. And she'd be out there, and she was the most patient fisherman I've ever seen in my life. And I mean, as you know, being a tuna fisherman, you gotta be patient. But she would not get a bite all day, but we'd have to sit there and sit there and sit there while she flounder fished, while she cod fished. You could cod fish right out there.
Yeah.
Pollock, everything was right out there. And she would just say, just wait. The next tide's coming. The next tide's coming. And I always just remember those words from her mouth. And it was just like, I say that to myself out there. The next tide's coming. Next tide's coming. I think of my mom all the time, you know. So
That's cool.
yeah, that was.
It's just amazing how quick
her
it changes.
Yeah. Oh God.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yep. Yep. I was wondering what that was.
That was not me. That's Riley's underneath the table.
I totally forgot he was under there.
Riley's a dog underneath the table.
Everyone,
Yeah, right.
if you've listened for a little while, you know who Riley is.
Hey, buddy. You heard your name.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
a great way to get into it. Special way to get into it.
Mama.
Mama.
And do you remember those hand lines that were
Yeah, my dad had
the
them,
wooden
yeah.
ones? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she would just,
That's
there
awesome.
would be hand lines out there. And
We still use those up in Canada. That's how we mackerel fish up there.
are you serious?
Yeah, it's all
Hand lines, 200-pound mono, and then snap swivel to your sabiki rig. The stealthiest mackerel rig possible.
200 pound.
200 pounds. Because you don't want, because your hands are cold and stuff.
Yeah.
You don't want it to like slip through your hands and be awkward. Plus, you're like stepping all over it on deck. You just get it to whatever depth, and then all the slack line goes on deck.
Again,
That's all they use for catching.
We
bait
just
up.
overthink everything up here. We really do.
And not only that, they're not dealing with a sabiki rod getting caught in the kite and all that. It's just whoop, wrap up on the little spindle thing and tuck it
away.
Tuck it
gone.
away.
No extra rod in the rod holder.
Yeah.
We should bring that back.
Hey, speaking of kites, how many kite bites you guys have this year?
One.
It's actually one of our questions.
Is it? All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
No, I think we fished it, like realistically fished it, what, like 6 times, 10 times?
Mostly because you're the rate limiter with that. I want to fish it every day, and you're like, I don't
The
know.
kite is 100% good luck on our boat because one of the other rods gets bit.
Totally.
Yeah.
Do you have an electric reel on it?
We do, yeah.
Oh, thank God.
This was the first year, though.
First year,
was the
yeah.
first season.
Yeah,
we
we
got
had
to
to have like a
Did that
50
not
or an
change
80.
your game?
It is
it's
nice.
amazing.
It makes you want to put
Oh,
it out.
wow. Yink.
Makes you want to put it out more.
Oh, God, yeah. See,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. It changes
Yeah.
your game because you're much more
Riley keeps
likely to
bumping
put it
the
up.
camera.
Come here, Rye.
Come here, buddy.
You want to ask that one?
Yeah. Go.
Oh,
No, you go. You go.
buddy.
So dovetailing into kites, I guess. How do you rig it? When do you fish it? I mean, we're very attentive to detail. We watch the show every
Yeah.
single moment of it, and like just look at like the little things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You seem to fish it a lot. So like, what's your whole mindset on the kite?
My God. I mean, a lot of times we're just fishing 3 baits, right? When we don't run the kite. I mean, one of the things is that's a 4th bait to get out there, right? So a lot of times less is more, but when there's mackerel around and you know they're feeding on the surface, more is more. So more baits, more surface baits. That far floater can be unweighted, and the kite obviously is unweighted. It's just dancing on the surface. So, Yeah, geez. I mean, we get that kite up as much as we possibly can, but really, it's only a bank thing or the bay. We don't fish it in Chatham at all. You could actually. You know what? I shouldn't say that. We got 2 bites at Crab Ledge on the kite. So they're surface feeding too. So I guess to answer the question, wherever we feel like they're surface feeding on max, that kite's going up. That kite is going up.
So if you're not seeing fish smash, but you're seeing mackerel up,
Absolutely,
you're still putting the kite up.
the mackerel are up for a reason, right? Yeah. So there's fish around. There's fish underneath them. They love that mackerel, and especially in rough conditions. It comes out of the water, slaps in, they're like, what is that?
Yeah.
Right.
I need to have that. So it's more of a reaction bite, and it's completely away from the pack. You know, there's this school of bait fish over here, 1 million of them, and they just see this activity on the surface and they can't help themselves.
Yeah.
But we used to fish a couple of baits off a single kite. We used to fish a couple of kites and a couple of baits. You better just be concentrating on that kite, maybe have a down bait down, or else it just becomes way too chaotic. So a lot of times, just all the time, just one bait on that kite. In the bay, it's deadly with a bluefish or a pogie out there. I mean, deadly. If you don't have it out, you're out of the game.
Pogie's my favorite bait on the kite.
Oh, yeah.
Personally.
Because they last all day long.
They have that bigger tail. They throw that water well.
Absolutely. But bluefish, oof.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So much commotion.
Oh, God. Yeah. I remember while we were filming this summer, our first day in the bay, I put a pogie out. My mate John looks at me. He goes, "You really want to put a pogie out?" And I'll never forget this. And you know, he's an excellent fisherman in his own right, Johnny. And he looks at me. He goes, "Commotion, commotion." I went, "You know what? You're right. Screw it. Bring that thing back in." So take it in, throw the pogie aside, put a hook on a bluefish, throw that out, turn my back. It's on. It's on. And it was just, we pulled a hook on that one though. Yeah. So, I mean, those are the ones that you just think about, right? So, and that was a circle hook on that. A lot of times, you know, on the kite, we'll just use the J hook because of the way they bite. Mm-hmm. But so we went from a circle, it was about that size.
Yeah.
That size.
Yeah.
Actually, what is that? Is that
That's
an 8?
actually a 9-0.
9-0.
Oh, it's a 9.
But it's the size of an 8, of like a 8 Mutu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, same day, kite bite again, J hook, pulled the hook again. And you're going to see that. I know.
Kite's hard with hook.
Oh, my God. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all that slack.
Right.
You know, they don't feel back pressure until, and that's why when you get bit, if you're not reeling in slack right away to try to get tight on them, you're going to pull that hook.
Yeah.
You're going to pull it. And, you know, if it's on a far floater, bluefish especially, you got to let them take that thing right down to their asshole or else, and you better be fishing high leader because you can with a bluefish. But with a kite, you just reel till it's tight. And if they're coming at the boat, forget it.
Yeah.
You're going to pull the hook.
Yeah.
You're going to pull it.
What about terminal tackle details? Like, are you fishing, you know, 220 fluoro, braid is your top shot? Are you using mono top shot on the kite?
Yeah, so we use braid until about 50 feet of mono, probably about 50 to 70 feet of mono. So just where the braid ties into the mono, that's where we have the crimp, obviously, and the swivel. So you don't want that tripping that release clip, so it has to be under that. And so we put the kite a mile up in the air so it flies right. And
so you're still getting like some sort of shock, basically several feet down, whatever, 10, 20, 30 feet down from the clip. You then have a short piece of mono plus your leader.
Exactly
to your hook.
right.
Got
yeah.
it.
And the reason why we do that is the mono creates so much drag and it just doesn't sit right. It doesn't fly right. It lifts the bait out the water and the braid just cuts right through the wind like nothing.
Yeah, you can't put it out as far.
Exactly.
Want, you know.
Exactly.
I bet the mono too, and this is me like overthinking things.
Yes.
As we do.
I bet the mono though, having it below the clip like that probably adds the perfect amount of weight above the bait to get him to swim right. Instead of just having braid all the way
Right,
through,
all the way to it.
it adds that
Yeah.
little bit of extra weight.
Yeah.
It's never a consideration with a bluefish, but it absolutely is with a mackerel. You're right.
Yeah.
Just that little bit of weight. And a lot of times beneath the sight marker, we'll put a weight.
Yeah, little
that
egg
it sits-
sinker or something.
Yeah, just a little one. Just
Gotcha.
on there, but
Gotcha.
yeah, big hooks, as big as you can get. We go direct with bluefish. We don't bridle anything on the kite anymore because we've had so many bites where they just pull it right out the bridle. So we're direct on that. We bridle in Chatham a bit on the drift, but we don't bridle too much at all.
We don't either.
Same.
Yeah.
Just when you're limited on baits for us.
Yeah.
You know, if we only have 6 pogies or 4 pogies or whatever, and we're continually doing drifts, or if you're in a place you can't catch mackerel, say way out east, and you're doing drifts, and we bridle sometimes.
That way you're not rehooking them 14 times.
On the drift,
Yeah.
it makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So, but
Heavy current,
yeah.
we will sometimes with whiting and stuff. Mm-hmm. Just so they're not like helicoptering if you need to pull the hook more forward or whatever else.
Yeah.
You're using pretty heavy leader as far as, you know, your leader to your hook. You're using heavy stuff or kind of similar to what you use?
On the kite, we're using 300 to 500.
Same.
Yeah. It's crazy.
500. That gets, me,
Yeah.
that gets me all horned
I would
up.
do that on a bluefish.
On a bluefish, absolutely. But
yeah.
but once you start seeing actually we're around 300 on that. So
Yeah.
it all looks the same from 3 to 5.
Right.
It's nuts. But then 5 looks like rope, you know.
Right.
But it looks like long line gear. But so 300 on that. But you know, on any floaters, I mean, you know how shy you have to be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the name of your boat. So it's I mean, you know how that goes. So we're 150, we're 180 in some applications, never 220 on those, unless you're Georges where they're just numb. They don't care. But usually 150, 180. Night fishing, 180. But 90% of the time, 150, you know. I know some guys use 130 and as low as 100. They get the bites, but they don't
They
keep
don't
them.
always get them.
Yeah, they don't always get them.
We played with 130 a few times this year when those really massive, like 8 pluses were on Middlebank in August.
Yeah.
Just to like see how many more bites we get. We really didn't get any more bites, but we definitely had some trouble getting a swim hook in them.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I see.
You got
Yeah.
them right up to the boat,
Snap.
and you know you're trying to get them on the swim hook, and they just chafe you off when they're coughing and doing
Right,
all this
right,
stuff.
right.
you know? Even though the hook's perfect, it's just from being on so long.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
just, man, we don't even mess around with that anymore. It's
Yeah.
just, but, you know, in certain applications, I think that shy leader will,
Make
a
a
big
difference.
fleet, I think it, you know,
Big
especially
fleet, mung, weather conditions,
far floater.
sunlight.
Oh yeah,
Far
We
floater's
basically
huge.
decide like every morning, you know, 'cause we basically rig like new starting lineup leaders every day, unless it was like a overcast, non-fishy day the day before where the stuff wasn't sitting outside and getting smoked all day. We'll reuse it, but we'll make that assessment every morning, basically.
if it's really rough, we bump up.
Yeah.
We're crazy with new stuff. You know, if there's any spin in the top shot, you know, you'd probably do the same thing. Stretch out your top shots on the way out.
Yeah.
Stretch them out between every fish. If there's any question that they're still coiled up in that water column, take them right the heck off.
Totally.
I mean, you work so hard to get the bite. If
Right.
you're going to be as careless as to say, it's good enough. Well, it's not good enough.
Yeah,
That's never a term that you should use.
right.
It's good enough.
It's right. It's right.
It's right. It's
Yeah.
right or it's
Like
wrong.
we are
Yeah,
going to
exactly.
catch him as
Yeah.
long as the hook doesn't pull.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the way I want to fish every single
Exactly.
day. You know?
Exactly.
I wish there was a hook that doesn't pull.
No shit. There is a 9.0 Jobu with 224 on the kite, and you just let them eat it for like 90 seconds.
I used to use Jobos with Ronzies and with what the heck? Sluggos. Remember just dragging?
Oh, yeah.
Those Jobos were awesome.
They are.
were
So
awesome.
sharp.
Yeah.
They aren't the strongest hook. Like
It's just that long shank that
Yeah.
makes me crazy.
Yeah.
You know, they can leverage right off of that. You know,
totally.
but-
For us though, for using it on the kite, it's so sharp that like even if they only have the bait like a cross in their mouth or whatever,
gonna
you're
hook.
probably gonna get them.
Yeah,
You might get
yeah.
a roof hook and it'll be a shit show fight, but you'll at least get a hook in them.
I might go back to those on the kite.
We've been using the 9s on the pogies, 8s on the mackerel, and then 10s and 11s on the bluefish.
Yep.
One thing we do with the kite is we know that he got him good is we basically free spool him and let him just, if it's a commercial day,
Yeah, right.
let him free spool it and just let him die on the hook.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but it's a visual thing too.
Right.
Like we're not just, oh, he ate it and then keeping the drag light and clearing rods. It's like staring at that line angle
making
from
sure
the
he's
clip
got
to
it.
see which way he's going, make sure he has it.
With a hook like that, it's great. But if it's a circle, man, oh man, if you
Yeah.
take
Hard.
all that line out there, it's
Yeah.
like that's a pulled hook waiting to happen way
Yep.
the heck out there. So,
Yeah.
Totally.
but yeah, it's like you said. I mean, every single application. I mean, you gotta think about just every scenario when you're out there. Which hook is going to be the one today? Which leader? Which the top shot's always the same, but have I stretched the top shots? Is that top shot okay? I mean, yeah, it's. Man, you just play the craziest mind games every single day, all day
Bad.
long. Why aren't I getting the bite? What's wrong down there? What am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's nothing,
It's just how many
The
fish are
tunas
there, or are
don't
they
bite.
hungry?
I can talk about this stuff for hours.
Well, that's what we do.
Well, that's what we do. John looks at me a lot of times when we first started filming. He goes, "You're doing charter talk. You're doing charter talk," and that's just when you over-explain everything, And I enjoy it because I could see it. A lot of times, our charters are out there to learn. And unfortunately, a lot of times you create tuna fishermen with your charters. I'm sure you guys have seen it. so many times.
Absolutely.
But I don't mind that. I'm okay with that. They're paying us to teach them. I don't know. And they kind of become long life friends as long as they're not anchoring on you.
And I think,
know?
teaching them, to your point, eliminates that chance.
I
from
think
A
happening.
lot of
absolutely
the
right.
times
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah.
You get the occasional. We had one bad one this year.
Yeah.
It's like, really?
Within 10 feet of I swear to God. The
Like
next
multiple,
day.
like multiple.
The next
days in a
day?
row.
next day.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
It was bad.
Yeah.
That's really, really.
And we had a
bad.
great day. We had I think we
Two
actually
fish.
hooked 2 or 3 and
2 800-pounders.
big ones. And
with that
released
person.
with them. The next day they're on their own boat sitting right there. And it was like one of those, dead as a doornail day after deals.
Yes, of course.
When nothing happened.
Of course.
And
Yeah.
which was good, but also it was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Showing up and they're just sitting there and you're like, really? You want to go over and yell, but you can't. You can, but you can't.
What other charter hypes and gripes or show hypes and gripes that have impacted your fishing positively or negatively?
I mean, the show has definitely. It's. Let me see. I'm such a competitive guy, and the stress level is so high when we're filming. I mean, it's crazy. So the stress level is always high on charters, anyways. But having cameras on you and having to perform, not being a guy that hasn't been there since day one, always having to earn your spot for the next season. That's always in the back of my mind. So we have to catch or we're off that show. So hype level is just ridiculous with that on board. It's just, the pressure is just insane. But
Yeah.
Wow.
we don't mind the cameras on us at all. I mean, it's so natural out there. When you sit in the chair, that is no good. But like 5 virtual strangers in front of you, you know how we kind of narrate some of our scenes?
Yeah.
I can't stand that. I'm no good in that type of.
Is the
on the boat? Is
it
fine,
like
but-
ask you a question, answer it, or is it ask you a question, cover these bullet points while you're answering it?
Yeah, so it's a general question, and you answer it one way, and then they say, "Well, why don't you answer it again in a different way?" And then we'll go back to kind of that same question 5 questions later, and you're like, "I thought I already answered this. So which way do you want this?" But the thing is, their formula, it obviously works. It's in 160 whatever countries, and
11 seasons.
I'm sure we all can't believe how long this has gone on.
Yeah.
I can't. I can't.
I remember
believe
when it
Yeah.
first started, we
Right.
were all like, "What boats are on?" And I
Yeah.
know that guy. I don't know this guy.
Yeah.
And now it's like, it's
Yeah.
deadly. It's deadly as catch.
It's
me.
nuts,
basically,
and
yeah.
it's just becoming more and more popular.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. And
Yeah.
so the pressure is always on again to get called back that next year, and you don't know either until like May or June.
That's insane
None of us
to me.
know. Yeah. So here I am blocking out July and August and almost all of September for
Just like
charters.
your charter season, right?
I have to block it out. I can't book those until I know. And we had a great year on camera. We had a great year, and we all kind of did. But
Yeah.
so you think you did enough to come back, but you just don't know. So the pressure's always on to perform.
Right.
And we don't. These guys, they're characters. They've been there 10, 11 years, so the fans know them so well. They don't know us yet.
Right. And
So-
they don't even
yeah.
have to have a great season.
That's
to be honest
my
with
point.
You.
That's
right.
my point. They
Yeah.
don't have to have a great season. But
Right.
the day that we say, we don't have to have a great season, these fans know us, that's when you're already doing the wrong thing. You have to have that mindset that we have to perform. We have to be the best boat. We gotta beat these guys. Because when you're not thinking that, you've failed. You're just not gonna.
Yeah, I think
Have to be competitive.
I think
You gotta be competitive.
Some people watching it, I think sometimes myself included, watch it and you're wondering, are they faking this competitiveness? Like, is it all scripted? But I mean, you're proving the point that it's not.
My God,
really
no. My God,
scripted.
no. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's, man, I want to beat every single one of them. And I want to beat them handily. It's and that has nothing to do with them. It's just,
Right.
that's how I grew up, an athlete.
want to be on top.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Competitive
Yeah, absolutely. Why do it if you don't want to be the best?
Why do anything if you
why
don't
do
want to
anything?
constantly
Yeah,
improve at it?
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, you guys look around the fleet every day. You want to be the one that gets that bite.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the camaraderie and like talking and
So do I.
sharing of
Nothing better than leaving the fleet
yeah.
by
The
yourself.
best.
At 7:30 in the morning.
Let me swim this fish over
Outta
here
here.
and watch everybody else trying.
Yeah.
I mean,
That is the best feeling.
And it is
No
fun.
matter who wants to say it is.
It is. And I will say too, like, it's a little bit of a different element for us because we have, a couple boats. It's like you're on one, I'm on another, we're on the same one, whatever.
You still want to beat him.
Totally. There is
I see him pushing a lot more. I'm a little more reserved with it.
yeah.
But I can already see he's competitive with it.
But it also
is good.
Which
it's
I
also
love.
sick to be with charter clients and like, we're still staring at floaters and, Fortuna's backing
the other
down.
guy.
Hey, they're on. Like, it adds to the experience. It's been helpful for us too.
I bet.
One boat catches, one boat doesn't, but the customers still get to see the fish. They still get the whole deal.
Yeah.
So that's helped us.
They
a
know
little.
that it can happen.
Yeah.
That's one benefit with it being in a fleet too,
Correct.
with a charter, which it's horrible. I hate being in a fleet ever.
Yes.
But when you're with a charter, sometimes it pays off being in a fleet because they see 50 boats and 7 bites.
Yep.
And they
I
go,
say
oh,
it
wow,
all
it's
day long.
hard.
Yeah. I say it all day long. Well, I spoke to so-and-so way down south because they look at you and they're like, why aren't we catching?
Right. Or it's
What's-
2 o'clock. Why haven't we moved?
What's wrong? Yeah.
Right.
It's like, well, you have to stay for the next tide. I talked to somebody down south. I talked to a guy up north. The whole East Coast is slow. And
It's
I'm
true.
not making it up.
Right.
And we're on our phones constantly.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Same.
The intel gathering is insane because if there's a bite elsewhere, we're not lazily just sitting there. We're going.
Yeah.
We are going 100%. So when they see you guys just sit there until 2, why haven't we moved? Well, it's because there's nothing else anywhere else,
Yeah.
so.
I think the best is when you know that the bite's going to be at 2:15.
Yeah.
When you're there at 4 o'clock in the morning, in the dark,
Yeah.
getting bait, and they ask you like, what? Is the morning better? Like, I don't really think we're gonna get a bite until maybe like 2:15, 2:30, and they look at you like, what the hell?
Why did I get to the boat at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Who's this Nostradamus? Yeah.
I'm like, well, we got to catch bait right now that we can't catch in 2 hours. That we now need to survive until 2 o'clock. That we can then put out and then catch the fish at 2:30.
We have
We're
to
like,
get a
what?
spot, and we
yeah.
got to do this. We like fishing this certain,
Right.
numbers. But
Yeah.
it is true. I mean, it's true.
It is.
We all like to fish these certain spots, and they just happen to be numbers. So,
Right,
exactly.
yeah, it's, and when that's the thing about Middlebank, though. Now it's become, you can actually fish north, south,
Right.
all along that edge.
Yeah.
I swear in years past, if you weren't in the zone, you were out of the game.
Yeah.
But it's become a lot better in the last
See, it
3
seems almost like there's channels. We're gonna get nerdy right now. For me, it seems like there's maybe 3 or 4 general, I'm gonna say 300 to 400 yard channels that these fish are going through.
I call them tuna
middle
highways,
banks.
tuna inlets. Yep.
I don't think they necessarily go throughout the whole edge, but I think that they definitely go through little like channels in the bank. I don't know if they're going east, west, whatever.
Well, they're always around those high spots.
Yeah.
Those high spots. If you
Holding
can
the
find
bait
one and be next to one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, and those high spots are always holding bait. We'll come off the edge to fish those high spots for bait. And I swear if we just, on those calm days, drifted
Up on
around
top.
the-
We started doing that last year.
That's all.
Did ya?
And that's all.
Yeah.
When I was fishing with Jeff and everyone in November, December, for the most part, it was just drifting those high spots.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
on the east side of them, but
Yep.
on those high spots.
We had
Makes
some
a
good
heck of a lot
fish
of
in
sense.
October when everyone was really slow. We just went up way up on top or just on the east side and become 100% by ourselves, and we were catching fish.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and it's just
and that's smart.
everyone's lined up, and it's trust me, it's painful sitting there looking at 75 boats all lined up. You see a couple bites. Damn, should I be over there? You know, you like start second guessing yourself, but then you get licked
yeah.
and you're by yourself.
One
But if
fish
you're
swims
by-
by and it eats because you're the only boat
if you're
there.
by yourself, that's going to happen. And yeah, I think it's a great move. And a lot of times I think it's a great move just to get away from the fleet because it gets in the charter's head too.
Yeah.
You know, if they don't see the fleet, and then if 2 or 3 get bit and they don't see them,
Right.
you're fine. You're over here by yourself.
Right.
Yeah. They don't realize, but you're much more in the game. Your percentage just went way up.
Yeah.
You know,
It's hard to do though.
it is hard to do.
Especially with
Yeah.
paying
Yeah.
customers on the boat.
It's hard
Yeah.
to do when you know that they're coming through, but it's a Sunday, grease comp Sunday, and you're like, my best shot's gonna be, right here, but
Yep. Less lines in
You
the
really
water
gotta go
though.
somewhere
is-
else.
Yeah. I mean, it's, yeah.
On that same note, I know we all have our theories and thoughts. How do you think the fish migrate into the Gulf of Maine? Like from north to south, some come up around the... Personally, what I think is they come north to south from like basically east of Jeffries down towards the bank and then down around the Cape that way as
This
well.
is a crazy sort of who the heck knows type question, but I think to your point, I think you're right. I think that they hang out to the east for so long and then they poke their way in. They just keep poking their way in. Whether they be northeast and poke their way in up to the north from the east, but I don't think obviously they come from the south, right? At the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
But I think they spend so much time out east and they just kind of poke their way in, feed, go way back out east again. And I saw that while harpooning. I saw that is where the whole entire, I swear to God, just group of fish just stays.
The biomass is there
biomass
really
is
for a long
almost
time.
always there in my opinion. And they just poke in and then they just trickle in daily. They feed once or twice a day and then trickle right back out. And then they just digest everything, whether it be close to the surface or later in the year, they're down in the water column. But I mean, have you been harpooning with Webby?
Jeff,
No,
Brian
one
has,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
was-
And you learn a ton.
You learn
about that
so
stuff.
much.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
About that stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as far as kind of daily what they do, I think they're all the way up south. All the way up down south. They go all the way up north. All day long, they're just running these edges all the way up and down. So, and they start out east and come in. I bet you George's Bank is just littered with fish all year long. Well, we're going, where the heck are they?
Yeah,
They're there.
totally.
Yeah, and they're feeding on ground fish. They love feeding on those ground fish. They're coming in and getting their bellies full a little bit in here. And as you saw in September, October, they were not hanging around.
No.
So where in the world were they?
Yeah.
And in my opinion, east and
Canada.
yeah.
I was in
That's right. You were.
I was up there when it was really slow down here, and it was like every tuna in all of the land was there.
I will say they stayed south way longer than they normally do, though. Off of
Definitely.
Chatham. And,
Yeah. Seems like Chatham's is good. Good.
It's just good, man. It's such a pain. We went there so much this year because, again, pressure is on to deliver, right? And you could sit on the bank 3 or 4 days without a bite in August. And that's almost unheard of around here, right? Mid-July to the end of August, usually you're getting a bite a day on the bank. Sometimes we're there 3-4 days, and it was just like, I can't do this. We got to go south. We got to get in the mix. We have to deliver. We have to compete, and I'll say that 100 times, but we had to. Yeah. We have to, so it's...
You have the boat for it, though. We're really going to have the boat for it soon.
Yeah. That thing's going to be a machine, but I will miss my boat because I love
that
my current boat. Yeah, I
especially since you extended it.
Yeah,
the thing
it looks way better now. Yeah. Before it
way more proportionate.
Yeah, it looked so weird before.
It looked like Manny before.
No, it's a little different. Yeah, that kid, he is just the man. Oh, I love him.
Haddock Day. He was with us Haddock Day.
He fished with us once. We caught a fish, and that's all we needed.
Yeah,
I remember.
He blessed the boat.
He did. He's a great,
on his way.
Great kid, I have seen him grow up over the years and just become like, he's ridiculous. Everything he touches, he just works so hard at anything he does. He just succeeds no matter what he does. I mean, he's got an incredible business. He's such a good father, such a good husband. He's just become a man before my eyes. And
that's cool.
He's awesome. I love that. And he's just has so much respect for... for like John and I on board, and he's just game for everything. Yeah. Oh man, he's so willing to do whatever it takes. Yeah, he's just.
You guys seem to have one of the most dialed crews out there.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Thank you. Yeah. And I think it's because I don't micromanage. I let those guys. I mean, we had a process, and we have a process, and we have a way that we do things, a system and a program, and I've had it for years. And when these guys jumped on, I think John in 2015 or something like that, and I've been fishing with Manny for 15 years now, whatever. They understand the program, the process. They do it. They add their own little parts to that, and it's just become this incredibly cohesive kind of deal back there. It just works. Yeah, it works. So, and it's mostly because, say I want a bait at a certain fathom. If you're a fathom off, like if John puts a bait out like at 15 and I in my head wanted it at 16, a lot of times when you're on camera, you don't have time to kind of talk about where you want to put baits. Now, if I have 16 in my head and he put it at 15, am I going to go say, I want that at 16? I mean, it's a fathom. Yeah, 6 feet. And it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. So why be that guy? Why be a tyrant on board? And just when you speak, you want them to respect that, and you want it to be good information. You don't want to be the guy who's, like I said, micromanaging. Yeah. And I think that's why it works. So
no, you do a great job of it.
Oh, thanks. For sure. I appreciate that. You guys do too, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah,
very good business.
No one's really a yeller. I would say
Brian is the high energy.
I don't yell at people. I'm just high energy.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
I think
you yell at us sometimes.
Well, it's also different when you're fishing with your brother and your dad too.
Correct.
If you've met John, my mate John, and I don't think you have, but he brought a certain calmness to the boat too. He brought just a way to, and I was sort of that high energy guy, like, oh, Jesus, I can't believe this, this happened. I would never be at anybody. It would be just in general. I'd be like, Yeah. And now he's just kind of like, you lose a fish, he doesn't say a word, just sets up another bait. We put it out, and it's just, okay. It's just calm. You don't have
so
to
much
be,
of that's experience too.
It's experience and age too. Yeah, I think that all
like
comes
once you
with
lose enough. Like how many times were you and I or whoever looking at each other while we're fighting one for the third hour with someone on the reel that's never done it, and you look at each other like, all right, so like when's this gonna break? Yeah, we're gonna lose this fish near the boat. It's gonna chafe us off or whatever. Like, and if he doesn't, then we're pumped. But if he does, it's you walk back, you start crimping a new leader, and you're off to it just happens.
Just happens. Yeah. I saw you guys on a video the other day doing the hand while they cranked. Yeah. And I thought to myself, oh my God, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
And the one thing that you guys I love that you guys do is, man, you take footage. I watch every single one. I'm telling you right now. I watch like you guys watch the show. I watch your videos.
Yeah,
cool.
That's cool.
Because I love that. I love watching the bite.
Yeah.
For me, that's why I watch the show. I want to see the bite, and I think that's everything. The bite to me is everything.
That's why we started really filming this the past 2 years.
I love it.
Our goal 100% was just to get bites on.
Yep.
That was the whole goal.
And then I watch you guys on charters, and I'm like, you know, anytime there's footage to do with charters, and I saw that, and I went, oh my God, I do that all the time. I do that all the time for these guys because, you know, no matter how much they do that, a lot of times too, maybe it's helped you guys on charters, but our clients watch the show. So a lot of times they already know how to do it. I'm like, how do you know how to do that? Watch the show. I'm like, oh my God, that's awesome. You know?
We definitely have some clients that do it, and we
like Rick does.
don't even want to say the word, but we allow them to do it.
Yep.
But we generally start off saying we'll pull for you, know, just reel, because you know what it's like when they've never done it. They hold back.
Yes.
And, you know, when they got 600 yards of line out in the first run, they start holding back.
Or it slows up
break
their
'em
reeling
off.
hand too.
Right.
They focus too much on this and they're slacking up way too fast, you know?
I will say that initial run, a lot of times we'll gain that initial amount of line back. And then we hand it over 100% because that's so critical.
100%.
Getting that line back. And they can't keep up.
No, I know.
I have not met a client yet that could. So, and as you know, you got to keep it tight. You got to keep it tight. You got to go with the boat and just keep it tight. And they can't. They just can't. And I don't want to say that, but I haven't seen the one that can yet.
Yeah.
So maybe if there's anybody listening, any clients, they'll take it as a personal challenge.
I'm trying to think. Maybe have like, I mean, Rich is good.
I'd say it's about 50-50 for us. It's also kind of a in the moment decision. It's like, does the fish go left on after the down rod, go up to the bow and dump, 300-400 yards of line? It's like, we're probably gonna at least get the top shot back on for him if we can run up on the fish real quick and swap.
Yep.
A lot of the times though, we give it to him because if there's half a spool out, that hook's either gonna pull or it's not gonna pull, regardless of how tight you are.
That's a good
so
point.
much string in the water.
Yeah.
One thing we don't
point.
do is the whole first run and a lot of the back down, probably we're not even fishing at 42 pounds of drag or whatever. We're not fishing at strike. We're a little backed off. So I think that extra slack, especially with a circle hook, that extra bow probably keeps that hook.
Yeah.
The line's going up alongside the fish's body a little more.
Oh yeah.
But as soon as we're like out of the chaos moment, the fish is dumping in like a good way, we try to hand it over. But there's many times, especially when they have less than 5 people, that we're fighting the fish.
Yeah.
At some point, whether it's the beginning and the end or just the beginning or whatever, for a bit, because they just can't.
We had
don't have the energy.
I want them to. I want them 100% on that, but they want to see the fish.
Yeah.
Whether it be a day where you're going after smaller ones and you catch and release the big ones. If they don't see it, they're so disappointed.
I know.
So we just try to make sure that no matter what they see it. They see it. You know what I mean? So it's
tough with tuna because you don't see them until they're there.
I know. Yeah.
exactly.
Unless they're really big, sometimes they come up. But
yeah.
What else we got?
Another good technical question. Marks on the screen. Picture whatever you want to picture in your head. How do you adjust and tweak your baits accordingly if you're not getting bites?
Yeah, so to our point earlier, you're only ever seeing what's around your down bait, right? So the floaters are already in the range because you're only a fathom or two away from your floaters on that down bait. So that's only really ever either a stick bait, a change up to a fresh libby call, right? So it's one or the other. Like, why are they not biting? Well, there's something wrong down there. I mean, it's either the bait doesn't have enough action, which a lot of times they don't. They'll just kind of go up on their side, and then, in my opinion, they see the hook at that time.
Yeah.
So now you want one that's just, again, a reaction bite, so you put a livelier bait down. But mostly, that's a stick bait option for us. That's why is he not biting? He's chasing once, he's taken off. Why? Because he's lazy. He's got 1,000 over here to eat. put a stick bait down.
Yeah.
Put a stick bait down. So, I mean, really, technically, that's kind of your only other option.
Yeah.
I mean, what else?
Do you
So
ever
it's-
raise or lower baits? or
Oh
whatever?
God, yeah, all the
Okay.
time. I'm sorry. So yeah, we do that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Fathom up, fathom down. So yeah, I mean, we do that quite a bit. A lot of times we'll go all the way to the bottom, crank it up 3 or 4 times, wait, and if you see them shoot down, a lot of times they still won't bite that. So wherever we had it, say it's at 12 fathom, or it was at 12, we'll drop it to the bottom, reel it up a few times, bring it right up to 12 again, then drop it to 13, because they will come through a few times. They'll come through and they'll look, same fish, and then if they see it change depths, they'll see and they'll say, something's wrong, it's at the same depth here.
Yeah.
If you change it a fathom, they'll bite it a lot
Yeah.
of times. So, you know, I did forget, so... Yeah, we do that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I'm holding back a little.
You can hold back all you want. You
No, actually, no. I just
we
forgot.
spill it.
If I'm being honest, I'm not holding back at all.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Lead's size is the third factor for us.
Yeah, we'll change
Like,
that.
a lot of times
sometimes.
it's like you got a 12, 16, 20, whatever, and drop
Depending on the
it
tide.
to like a 6.
Yep.
Yeah.
Put a
Yeah,
herring at
slack or
11 or
whatever.
something and just work it back on a floater real slow, and that'll get the bite or whatever.
Yeah.
We've actually had them. I've probably told you this before, but we've had them. How many fish? 75 on the screen? 50, 75 on the
Easily.
screen?
It literally looked like false bottom.
Where in the world was
In Canada,
that?
obviously.
Up north.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
sure.
50 cent, like
Yeah.
legitimate red out on the screen of tunas and not biting. Nothing. Won't bite a hand fed line, won't bite a kite, nothing. So we're like, oh, we got a couple live herring out of the net, put it on a lead of 50 feet, and eventually one of them has to competitive feed and eat it.
Yes.
Legit put the bait down and had 50 to 75 fish go off the screen, vacant, gone. No, not a fish on the screen. And as soon as that lead breaks the surface of the water, taking it back up out of the water, they're back on the screen and they bite as soon as the lead comes out.
I got a good story for you. And this happened mid-bank.
Yeah.
So we're filming, didn't get dick all day long, not even a look, right? And so we're reeling in the baits to go to Chatham. It was one of those, all right, we've been here 2 days. Let's go somewhere where we know we can probably get bit. This just isn't working. It's mid-bank. It's the only place there's fish. There's nothing up on Jeffries. There's nothing on the southwest corner, northwest corner. It's only mid-bank. Can't do this. I'm not doing this again.
Yeah.
Sun went down. It's dark. We're doing what we call an OTF interview. Manny's doing an on-the-fly interview where they say, well, talk about what happened today. And we say, well, we didn't catch anything. We're reeling them up. We're going. I'm reeling up the down bait. Same thing, right? Our underwater lights are on too. And I think that made a huge difference. I had a stick whiting down. I'm reeling it up. I take the weight out of the water, put it on the rail. You already know what's going to happen here. Boom! It just gets taken completely out of our hands. So the camera guy goes right to me, goes right to that. And that was a 100-inch fish. We got the damn thing. And and again, it's like you said, it's a ruckus. And they want to know what the heck that is. Reaction bite. I have to have that bait, you know? And it's
Everything
just
was probably
wild.
nice and tight and straight as you were holding the weight,
Yeah.
lifting them up like
Yep.
that. The lead was out of the water, just like the perfect scenario.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, when I was talking about the high ground, Southern Jeffries, a lot of times we would reel in those mid and far floaters, probably 20 yards, and let them back out. And that was just that little movement just created a bite.
Got a
It created
question.
a bite. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Dovetail. How many bites have you gotten reeling baits in besides that one that you're talking about? Versus letting baits out.
Very few, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
We don't have the patience to kind of do it slow-ish. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, let me see. Let me think about that one. Nah, it's very few. Probably
Right?
3 or
Weird,
4.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's weird.
Your question
Yeah.
was more, you get any bites reeling in or going out, which
So
is more?
I think your question was
Yeah.
how many reeling in?
Like we
did-
check our baits all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like the very small percentage of getting bit reeling in, even when you're going really slow,
Going out
versus
though, we get
letting
quite
them
a
out.
few.
How many bites you're letting out and you watch the floater go down, or whatever, or you just set it, you turn your back and you're on.
Well, I think once they settle is the biggest thing.
Right.
Right. So they're way up in the column. Weight's here. You're waiting for that bait to fall
down.
Yep. And I think a lot of times that's the time it takes to turn around, go on the wheelhouse. Now the bait's settling. The bait's now in that at the
Zone.
fathom that you want. Yeah. And that's a lot of times when they get bit. But
I agree. I think to add a little to that too is when you're letting out, especially in a heavier current situation, you have that little, moment of vertical time from your floater to your bait. You're going with the current. Your bait's still probably swimming into the current a little bit, so everything is straight for that moment. Versus reeling in, everything's all angled out, and you got a Sikorsky herring spinning around. You know?
I know what that is.
Yeah.
Helicopters.
I stole the Sikorsky from Turbo. He's like,
Turbo?
that's his like.
I had a buddy whose dad used to work for Sikorsky.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, a kid I went to college with, his dad worked there as well. But our friend Nick, who fished with Damon on Castafari and stuff for a while, if you rig a shitty ballyhoo, that's what he calls it.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's a solid term.
To your point about checking baits, right? So I think that the guys out there who check their baits most often, for whatever reason it is, I think a lot of it is just that bringing in and redeploying and settling and everything obviously freshening. Yeah, for sure. But it's the guys who just don't do that don't get the bites. They just don't get the bites. It's such a simple thing.
Right.
And for you to get yourself out of the game or keep yourself out of the game all day long based on complete laziness, I have such a problem with that. I really do. I don't even want to fish with you. I don't want to hear your opinions about fishing.
Right.
If you're not, you know what I mean? It's just
agreed. You're wasting your time.
You're wasting your time out there. You're in our way.
Exactly.
And I hate to say that, but you're in our way. Hey, why are you getting the bites and we're not? Well,
you've been sleeping on
are you paying attention? It's anyways. And that's not being pompous at all. It's not. It's just it's a fact. And again, it's if you're not working hard 100% of the time, especially for your clients, you don't deserve their hard-earned money. You just don't, so.
Agreed. Do what it takes.
Yep.
And work hard.
Yeah, we check our stuff a lot. Probably borderline too much, but.
Well, I know that though.
Yeah.
Because you guys get bites. Why are those guys getting bites? Because they're on top of their game. It's as simple as that, you know, and I know when I see you guys getting bites, it's like, I figured they would. They do because, they're on top of it.
And likewise, the same with you guys and everyone else that puts their time in there, you know. What other questions we got here? What about scary experiences on the water?
My scariest was on the offshore lobster boat, and that was in 92. We actually, it was around Thanksgiving time, and this was 1990 because I was still in high school, and it was I was in school at the time. My mom actually let me go on this trip and miss school. I couldn't believe it, but
that's a champion move right there.
Yeah, it was. I think it was junior, and it was September, and the boat I used to work on was a 90-foot steel vessel. It's still in operation, called the Michael and Kristen, and we fished the southern part of Georges, kind of in that canyon area. That's where all the gear was, and they actually got floating net in their wheel, and they had to get towed into Nantucket, but they were moving all their gear way up north because there was a hurricane about to come through. They didn't want to lose all their gear. So they had 2 crew members that had to leave from Nantucket, so they flew me and another guy down to help on that gear kind of move trip. So you fish the gear, and then you move it up north out of the way of the hurricane. And I've never seen rougher conditions in my life. And you go on watches between trawls, and there's a watch alarm that you have to hit every 6 minutes, or else it wakes the captain.
Right.
Because you got to
stay awake.
Yeah, you got to stay awake. So I puked all over myself, all over the wheelhouse. It was, and I really don't get seasick. It was that rough. There was cans coming up while I was in my bunk down forward, coming up. You know how you get that sea shelf that just kind of hits the sea shelf? They would suspend out and just propel launch themselves at your head while you were in the bunk. And I was scared to death. I was scared to death. A couple of the real seasoned guys were still on there, and they were like looking at me, and they were like, this is some of the worst we've ever seen. And they've been doing it for 20 years. I was like, this must be bad.
Wow.
Must be bad. But so, I mean, we're stacking traps too, right? So we're stacking them 5 high. And these are traps that inshore traps are, I don't know, maybe 3 feet, something like that.
Yep.
The offshore traps, back then, there was no wire either. It was all wooden. And they were like
heavy.
4, oh my God. I wasn't that old either. So I was 16, something like that. And here I am trying to put them 5 high in the worst sea conditions ever. They were flying all over the deck. You literally just had to watch. You just had to watch your back every second. Puking all over myself out there. And so, I mean, it was just horrible. So, I mean, I watch Deadliest Catch now. The star of that show is the weather. It'll always be the weather, right? Because that's insane. And it was only 1/3 as bad as what I see there. And those are much bigger boats. I've never been in stuff like that. Never been in stuff like that. It's
no joke.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like consistent 25s to 35s, you know? Crazy waves.
I mean, I'll tell you, this was, this was good 15 to 20 footers, for sure. And tight. Wind on top, probably 30 to 40 miles per hour. It was hell. I never went offshore after that.
Really?
Never worked on an offshore boat after that.
Huh.
So, yeah. That was it. I was inshore after that. I think I did probably 15 trips offshore. That was my entire career, offshore lobstering, but I didn't want to go after that.
Yeah.
That's
life-changing stuff.
It was, yeah. I never thought that I was going to die, but I thought for sure, I thought I was going to hurt myself real bad. I thought I was going to get hurt because every second, if you weren't 100% paying attention, you were going to get hurt. You would just, there was shit flying everywhere, just everywhere. So
Those old wooden traps are no joke.
oh my God. And the end traps, we had 50 trap trawls. The end traps had the biggest weights in them. They were probably 350 pounds. It took 2 of us to put them. It was hell. It was hell. Yeah. Now it's all wire and still.
Yeah.
That was the hardest I will ever work in my entire life. But so that's the scared the most scared I've ever been offshore for sure.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Oh,
Most scared? Your most scared was definitely Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween fish with Nick Sikorsky kid that I was talking about.
Yeah.
It was it doesn't sound like it was quite as bad, as rough as
Yeah,
when
but
you
on
went.
a small boat?
We were on a 36 BHM, which is actually Willie Hatch has that boat now. It's now the new Machaca. I'm
Machaca.
butchering the name. But Nick and this kid Nat had just like quote unquote outfitted the boat for the owner. It was like 80% done. And fishing the bay, like the old whiting grounds. And it was fishable till about like noon, 1 o'clock. And then it was like northwest.
Oh, it was north?
Northwest 35 knots.
Yeah.
And long story short, we had a late departure because of hungover personnel, and Nick had to find his dress whites to wear his Mass Maritime dress whites on the boat for Halloween. Legitimate photos of him with his ribbons, his fucking combo
I gotta
cover,
see
the whole
this.
thing.
I gotta see this.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Anyways, we get out there, we jig whiting, we throw like half a flat of herring, and we go off. Big slob, 110-inch fish. And we fought the fish for probably like 2 hours. Winds starting to come up. It was probably like northwest 20 by the time we had them wrapped up.
Oh my God.
And then we had no way of getting a fish in the boat. He got 2 like 90 inches in the boat.
This boat was like brand new.
Brand new.
Did it blow you into the bay? Were you going that way?
We were going like basically from like west. The fish took us from like west to east towards P-Town, basically. And got the fish. No way of getting them in the boat. We tried to tie a line from the midship starboard side, go over the wheelhouse with a bowline, and then have a come along on that side to winch them up. We thought the fish was like a 650 pounder. And we got him up. He was so big and so heavy that we ended up splitting his lower jaw with
In half.
In half.
Everybody's fear right there when you're yeah.
It
Oh
was
my.
rough. You should see the video.
Dude,
it's like
split-
Did
So
you
it's
have a
like-
tail rope on?
So we had
Still?
tail
Yeah,
rope,
yeah,
tail
yeah.
rope with a poly ball just in case.
Oh yeah. Just in case that happens.
We're trying to get
Yeah.
get him up. It's probably like 6 to 8 at this point.
Yeah.
So like you got the momentum of the waves and everything, things swinging around, jaw breaks. We're like, fuck, we need to drag this thing. I was not in charge that day. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, let's just drag this thing back to like Green Harbor or Situate, we'll lay up for the night, offload there. They were out of Sandwich.
Yep.
The boat was out of Sandwich. So they're all looking at the GPS, like, P-Town's pretty close. We'll go offload in P-Town, and then we'll go back to Sandwich. I'm like, this sounds like a fucking horrible idea. We drag this fish like 7 miles, 8 more miles into P-Town. By the time we get to P-Town, we use the boom there at the town pier to put the fish in the boat. And we're like expecting to meet the buyer there. Buyer now has to pick fish up down the canal that were caught, so he's no longer coming out to P-Town to get the fish. So we start heading back down through the bay.
But
to
now the
Sandwich.
fish is in the boat.
Now the fish is in the boat, thankfully. Mm-hmm. It was blowing every bit of 30 to 40 out of the northwest, and we got to like basically the fishing ledge. I just remember I couldn't see the fucking sky. That's
Oh
how
my
big the waves
God.
were. And this fish was tied off like basically through his eye and through his by his tail on either side of the boat so he wouldn't slosh back and forth. And I remember looking back, the scuppers in this boat, and you can see pictures of the boat still. Scuppers are probably like 6 by 3, open, no flappers, nothing.
Which I don't get, by the way.
This fish was
Yeah.
legitimately floating in the back of the boat. We were taking so much green water into the back. And we had like survival suits, up to our waist, like the whole 9. I'm like, call him OG. He's like trying to play it down. I can hear my mom in the background like, fucking screaming.
Jeez,
If he dies out there.
How old were you?
2010.
This wasn't that long ago.
Yeah,
really.
2010. So 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was like the first time ever, and we weren't far offshore. Like we're in the bay.
That's not far. But everything rolls up.
Oh,
and,
it's
I mean,
just
it's
like-
just
Northwest in there,
ridiculous.
it just has so much time to build.
Exactly.
Like people think, oh, it's covered by the land, but like it's really not. It comes right out of Boston, shoots right down.
Oh, the amount of fetch it has.
it's bad.
Not only that, you're
insane.
taking it off your beam the whole time, going from P-Town back down
and
to
it's
the canal.
steep.
Yeah.
Northwest is just steep and short.
It was
Ugh.
that was the one time I was like, is the fish really worth doing this shit?
The answer is always yes. Oh God, yeah. When I was on that offshore lobster boat, the answer was no. Is this worth it? No,
Right.
Yeah.
no. I do not
Giants
have
are different,
a
though.
giant on board.
You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Oh yeah.
A magical unicorn.
Almost always worth it.
It's awesome.
Oh, that's great.
What month was that?
It was on
Halloween
Halloween
day.
Oh, you said
anniversary
Halloween.
of the
Yeah,
perfect storm.
So, oh God.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't that cold, anyways. At least
It
you
wasn't
had
that bad. It
Yeah.
was like typical fall, like hoodie Grundens weather.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
gnarly. It was solid 10s with some 12s and bigger thrown in.
Just
In a
gross.
boat that you never fished on before, isn't complete. It's not like 10 footers on Fortuna.
Right. Like there's no tools on board.
no, nothing.
Nothing.
Literally 0 things.
Like they just finished the boat.
We barely
that
had the
month or
safety
something,
equipment to be able to commercially tuna fish.
I know when
Right.
you said 80%, I was like, well, that other 20 would have helped. I just knew it as soon
Yeah.
as you started that.
Yeah.
Being able to get
Did it
the
even
fish
have
in
an
the boat
anchor?
and get home on time.
Did it have an
Win,
anchor? Did you even have an anchor on the boat? I don't think you did. Because you drifted, right?
No, we were anchored.
Oh, you
We were
were?
anchored, yeah. We left our anchor, actually.
I was going to say, you had the anchor.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You probably, yeah.
Nah, I think Nick got it like a day or two later, maybe.
Wow.
But it was, I will say though, the fishing that day, like we got out
Northwest
there at
always-
like 9, 10 o'clock.
Almost always good north.
Yeah.
There was like 4 or 5 boats there. I think like Charlie and Putt were there. They were doubled up. Like, everyone was on when we got there.
Yeah.
Like you just knew it was going to happen immediately.
Sick.
But yeah, that was my story.
First putt experience that I remember is showing up to Peaked Hill. And it was like the sun was just rising and he already had 2 tails hanging off the side of his
And he got a third.
and he was fighting one. Like the sun was coming up and like he was done. I think it was a 3-fish day. I remember showing up and we were like, oh, we're gonna be the first ones there, and he was there by himself, already like done. It was just
Unreal.
like, that's sick.
Was he weighing in the gear?
I don't
or
even
was he
remember.
outside? Yeah.
I want to say he was like in that 130, 150 range, but
yeah.
yeah. That guy was. I mean, even
Good
Charlie.
fisherman.
Charlie's just as
Really,
good.
really.
Oh yeah, Charlie's fishy.
It's awesome.
Hey, tell me about these Charlie Brown hooks. You're just loving them, huh?
Yeah. Pros,
Yeah.
they're relatively inexpensive for the amount that you get. The little ring
Is awesome.
is awesome. It's
and
tiny.
it's black, which, whatever.
No, that's huge.
big,
yeah.
The eye is small. It's like it's like what do they call that? Like a needle eye hook, essentially, with the ring welded onto it. So it's not like a mutu where you have like a true eye, and then if you want to fish a ringed version, the ring is
Yep.
pretty beefy.
Right. It's like a thin, it's thin welded
Exactly.
shank at the end.
It looks skewed in that coaster because it's
look at that.
magnified, but
Yep. It's almost like one of the, wire shark rig hook,
they're in line.
Yep.
inline hook.
Inline circles, so we do fish our drag regardless of what position the bait is in the spread. Very light, like
10 pounds.
not even 10 pounds sometimes. They rust easy. You have to dry you have to like legitimately ShamWow them every single day. You can't really store them in the rod tip. Like if you're one of the guys that, like I know some guys will, protect their leaders, reel them into the reels, and just leave the hook at the rod tip.
That's me.
You can't
Yeah.
do that with those
Okay.
hooks.
Unless you like actually go up, spray them, and
Yeah.
dry them with a paper towel, and then
Yep.
store them. Which
Yeah.
we've
Listen, I got OCD, but I don't have it that bad.
Yeah.
One of the things that we don't like about them is out of a 5-pack, there's usually one or sometimes two that aren't quite as sharp. They're definitely not nearly as sharp as like a mutu.
Okay.
But I think that's a major advantage for gut hooked fish because I think they're actually able to get out and actually get in the hinge. Pulling hooks on them, man, other than once you get past the bite and past the run, how many did we pull last year, like realistically?
I never pulled one last year.
Maybe
Knock on wood.
That's pretty
two
incredible.
or
Chafed one
three
off, that was
fish. We probably chafed off 3 and pulled maybe 2 or 3 like after we fought them for a while. Every lost fish was in the beginning.
Yeah. Come at the boat.
Coming
Yeah.
at the boat
Yep.
or starting to run, you get off the ball, boom, you pull the hook.
Or you get an early release shot on him and he's clearly roof hooked.
Right.
Yeah.
He's black
Something
back, and, like
weird.
he does that turn at you and ding,
Oh,
pops
yeah.
right out.
which happens with every hook. But it seems like once you have them on and you get them pinwheeling, they just don't really seem like they come off on that hook. And the 8.0s, that's a 9.0. The 8.0 is a tiny bit smaller, but it's got the same gap, which we're probably going to fish next year. The 9s can be definitely a little too big for like medium to small herrings.
Herring for sure.
That
That right there is a mackerel hook.
Yeah, I mean, we've been fishing those in all of our big herrings and all of our mackerels, and
It's a light hook.
haven't had a problem.
It's strong.
very light.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean,
Yeah.
that bait's going to be...
I'm gonna say probably close to half the weight as a mutu, for the same size.
You haven't had any break. Nothing.
Not one. We
Towards
had
the-
one straighten while we were like releasing a fish, like
Oh, my God.
triple wrap.
Yeah. Right.
Holding.
Yeah.
We got the release on it, but
Yeah.
You probably had,
never broke.
without even knowing it, probably
Right.
60 pounds.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah. So, not too worried about that.
Many bites, we put the drag pretty much right up, like when he's going away.
Yep.
As long as we know he's going away, the drag goes up quick. If it's kind of like not really sure, we stay at that drag, we reel till we start getting line off the reel, and then we start going up. Like even if you get those bites that eat the far floater and you don't come tight until he's at the boat, we're reeling at maybe 20 pounds, 15 pounds. We're reeling tight. And once he starts, pulling a little bit, we start going up.
Oh, yeah.
That's one thing we don't do with those hooks is keep it at high drag in the holder.
Okay.
Doesn't mean it won't work though. There's
Right.
a ton of guys that fish. I mean,
30 pounds.
Canada even.
Yeah, Canada. We were fishing we don't fish those up there. We fish the 10-0 Mustad Demon 4X perfect circles up there. And
What on earth is that? I
it's
gotta see.
a badass hook. But it's just
really.
it's
Ever
too-
possibly used.
it's the best hook you could ever use in my opinion. It's just too our opinion.
yeah.
But it's too heavy for herring.
Yeah.
Unless you have like donkey Canada herring, and it's just way too heavy of a hook. I don't. I might have one like downstairs or something, but
My eyes lit up there. Be good in a stick bait. Good
be
in a
awesome
stick
in a
mac,
stick
yeah.
bait. They bluefish, pogies, big mackerel, like high floaters and stuff.
Are they
work
silver
well.
or black?
They're black.
Oh, they are black.
They
Good.
sell them in a ringed version, which is what I prefer, with like a really tight crotch loop to the ring. And they also sell them regular, and we usually do like a bigger crotch loop so they swing around.
Yep.
But that fucking hook is legit.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah,
It is.
great for bigger
The
baits.
4X though, the 3Xs will straighten and with like 60 pounds of drag,
Yep.
or they'll snap.
Yeah.
But the 4Xs are a good hook for gorilla gear days.
Just sounds to me like on a bluefish that would be
Money.
just sick.
And the Tenos, like profile wise, the hook isn't much bigger at all than that. It's just the gauge is bigger, and how the circle hook is designed.
Yeah.
It's a true tournament circle, so the tip is whatever. What is that? 90 degrees to the
Yeah,
shank.
perpendicular to the shank. Yep.
Like that isn't. Like that is like slightly bent towards the eye of the hook.
Right.
They're
Which
sick.
is probably why not a lot of pulled hooks.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
amazing, those hooks, though. I mean, you could put... There's guys up there that are putting 80 pounds of heat
100
on a
pounds of
fish,
drag
100
on.
pounds of drag.
That's insane.
Right off the rip on commercial days. And they're getting like 1,000-pounders in 15, 25 minutes.
That's where you kind of got the idea for these up
Kind of, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's as similar as you can get to that with being lighter to be able to fish the herring.
Yeah.
That's why we ended up going with that hook.
You
These
will
guys
miss
don't
some
even
bites.
harpoon their fish anymore.
Yeah.
I know.
They wire them up and they harvest them that way using those
incredible.
hooks.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
When anybody ever asks me what the perfect hook is, I say the one that works, number one, and number two, they all suck.
They all
They
suck.
all suck
do.
Yep.
at one point or another.
Yep.
And it's just when you could use a super mutu for months and months and months, and then you have a run.
Makes you wonder.
Oh my God, it makes you wonder quality wise.
Yeah.
What's going on in the factory, but
Or you
I don't
just
know.
pull them and you makes you wonder what you're doing. Like,
Yeah.
is it too much drag? Is it not enough drag? Are you letting them eat long enough? Or,
Yep.
like, I don't know. It's tough. I haven't had super great luck with super mutus. We've pulled quite a few. Heard of them breaking. But they're also like their 7.0's sick.
Yes, it is.
It's just like tiny, and
the whole hook vanishes in a herring.
whole hook vanishes
I
pretty
just
much.
love that. I love that one, but we've had our doubts, we've had our problems, issues, like with any hook.
That-
It sounds like very few with this. So that's
The only major issue is probably missing some bites.
and the rust.
Definitely miss some bites.
Yeah.
They eat it, balloon goes down, rod swings, and nothing happens.
You have
So
to,
not as
you have to be on the, I mean, not saying you guys aren't on the bike, I know you are, but you have to be fucking on it when the
Sure.
fish eats the
Yeah.
floater,
Yeah.
especially when the fish eats the floater.
Yeah.
So you have to know what direction it's coming at you and how he bit. Otherwise, to Taylor's point, if you come tight too quick, you're probably going to pull on the first run.
Yeah.
That's why if you watch like our bite videos and stuff, like we're to the rod within 5 seconds almost every single time.
Oh yeah.
You know?
And if he's taking line, we're going up quick.
Yeah.
But if he's not, we're kind of reeling fast, but on low drag. So it's just getting used to it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I think you fish pretty heavy heat right off the rip, right?
really, we're like 4 or 5 clicks back. So I mean, if we're at 42 where we like to fight, we're at around 33, 34.
Like a thumb. You're
I
fishing
guess.
Shimano's, right? So you're like a thumb below strike, basically.
Well, we're Technos.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh, yeah,
right.
yeah.
Techno. Sorry. Yeah.
No, I mean it's really all the same. So
Yeah.
it's 3 to 6 clicks back, and I mean it's we set the drag once with a drag scale at the beginning of the season. The rest is all by hand.
Yeah.
always
Same here.
by hand. Yeah, so
Same here.
it's all a touch. Humpbacks backs.
Yeah.
and the tuna were right beside it. And they were just picking them off backs.
I don't think there's a cooler
Yeah.
bite than that, honestly. Like when you
I
see the
think you're
whales
right.
come through, and it's like
And by the way,
when you're scared and you
Yeah.
think you have a whale on, but you know it's a tuna. That's my favorite kind of bite.
Chatham. Chatham
that?
is that. I mean, I fell in love with that place down there. They have such a good fishery down there. It's not even funny.
I've only fished down there a couple of times.
That Bob DaCosta there, the heck's the name of his boat again?
Albacore.
Albacore, yeah. I talked to him quite a bit down there, and he's just like, I hope you don't talk about Regal Sword or the crab or anything like that on the show. And I'm like, oh, sorry, Bob. I mean, at this point, it doesn't even matter. You know, it's just, yeah.
It all ebbs and flows. You
Yeah.
know, there's years where a lot of people are going to fish regardless.
100%.
And this whole COVID thing and people having boats and economy doing what it's been doing the last couple of years, it's like there's a lot of people fishing.
Yeah.
There's nothing
that's
you're going to do.
also why we're getting a ton of charters.
Totally.
Right? So,
it's like,
yeah.
you know, there's hypes and gripes to it all.
I know.
But no, I mean, we've thought the same thing about like Middlebanks. Like, we're going to talk about that all the time on the podcast. And it's like,
It's already over.
it's already
Doesn't
over.
matter
Doesn't matter.
anymore.
Nope.
Yeah. Well, there was a real hesitation on the show too about talking specifics, talking technical, talking about what we're doing out there, and we were just like, we can't do that. We can't do that. We can't rig a stick bait. We can't show what size lead we're putting down at certain times, and you know, jockeying the baits, putting them up, putting them down. But then it was like, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the people who are watching. If they can take it and apply it,
Right.
that's a one thing.
Right.
You know,
So many variables.
Oh, 98% of them can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, what were they doing? You know, what did I see? And anyways,
The biggest thing, in my opinion, is you can't, no matter how many details you talk about and whatever, you can't give people the time to do it, and you can't teach the instinct that it takes to be good at it. Like,
it's a really good point.
the time, having the time on the water allows you to notice the patterns to utilize your instinct. And talking about hooks and weights and leader and shit is not going to fucking change that.
Everybody asks me all the time, why does certain people get all the bites? Time on the water. That's all it is. TOW. TOTW. And it's if you're not out there, like you said, you're not recognizing anything. You don't know when to apply what. And I mean, these guys, you guys, Sandro, .com, I mean, on the water every day. If you're on the water every day, you're getting bites. You know, if again, like we talked about, you're working it all day long. If you're not getting bites.
Yeah.
So, but if you're not in the water, forget it. Just forget it. So, effort, time. Sorry, go ahead.
No worries. So what's the new boat build? Give us the summary. Are you changing a bunch of stuff from the current Fat Tuna? Are you adding anything new? What's the scoop?
Well, everything's new, but so it's a 46 muscle ridge and
Tank. Favorite hull, by the
So
way.
small.
is it really? Yeah, so small.
Next to a 38 Holland, that muscle ridge is a badass boat.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. I mean, I've been waiting pretty much all my life to be able to build a new boat and, getting some of the deals from being on the show. It's never free, but, companies like to market. So
Right.
I kind of felt like this is my one opportunity to get everything I'd ever want in a boat done. And, obviously I still have to take a loan and stuff like that, but, rates are good right now. Anyways, charters are very good right now too. I mean, the show has really helped that, but I need a bigger platform for that. And the 46 is certainly going to be that. I was always very envious of people with, a bigger deck, and 6 guys on board feels like 2 on some of these boats. And that's a lot of times, I'm sure you guys feel it too. It's very crowded back there.
Totally.
And,
Yeah.
it just gets to you. So this was my one opportunity to build a boat, and it's going to be gigantic deck. I made sure of that. I think it's 18 long by 15 wide in the back.
That's sick.
Yeah. So, I mean, I made sure that I kind of had the wheelhouse not so huge because we spend very little time in there. But as you walk in, it's going to be an offset entrance into the wheelhouse, couch on the port side, kitchenette, dinette, galley, whatever you want to call it, on the starboard side as you walk in. Rear station on that winter back there. One of the big things for charters on that port side facing aft, like the sport fishers, I'm actually going to have a bench there for the charters to sit on.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think that's huge. You kind of want them to feel at home out there,
Right.
Be out of your way.
Right.
The greatest thing about this, though, is the 2 live wells, center line, all the way on the transom under deck. So I have back-to-back 200-gallon live wells under deck. So separate baits.
Right.
One has a chiller.
I was just going to ask that.
And I mean, bait's everything out there, you know.
It
so if you're one of the big advantages of the big boats with the big live wells, if there's no bait out there, they already have bait from the day before.
Yeah.
From the week before sometimes. It stays. So I put a premium on that. A premium on fishability on this hull. I mean, that was everything. So that boat has to work for me and for us and for my crew for the next 20 years. So
Yeah.
I really made sure that I went nuts with everything within reason. But some things have to wait. I don't have the money for everything right now. So the finish work inside is going to be a bit commercial for a while. So until I can afford it. But yeah.
Not the luxury.
I like commercial.
Not the Fortuna luxury.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
OG purposely makes it uncomfortable so charters won't spend too much time in there.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
He's not smoking anymore, right?
No, he's not.
At least there's not that, so they might want to spend time in there. So
Like, why don't we get like good upholstery for the bench? No, we have like a 1/4-inch foam, like
high density
pad. It's like,
that's all you need, man.
it's like, it keeps people on their feet.
It is easy to clean. There's a lot of advantages to it. But yes,
there is.
I agree.
To the
It's not
simple
most
commercial
comfortable.
interior.
So fit and finish inside is going to be okay. It's not going to be like Fat Tuna now. That's a Spencer finish inside. And I just can't afford that. That's just a lot of money. That's where all the money is in a boat like that, is the finish. And it's just going to have to wait. I'm going to have to pick away over the years. But yeah, we're really excited. It's going to have a big power plant, 900 Scania. So we're hoping a cruise 15, 16, burning around 20. So,
Nice.
Yeah, something like that. So,
Nice.
but we're psyched. It probably won't be done until September, unfortunately. So I was just up there yesterday. I'll be up there a couple times a week for the next probably 4 months. But have you guys been up there to Maine? Have you seen that process? It's freaking awesome.
I can't remember the places I've been up there. A couple different custom boat works, but it's just
different world.
It's like Canada for bluefin. It's just like they know how to build boats. They got
Mecca.
There's people there. It's pretty amazing, actually.
So mine's being built at Clark Island.
Yeah, that's where I've been. Clark Island Boat Works. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just in love with those guys.
Yeah, they are.
They're
awesome people.
they're awesome, and they care. They're not the most expensive in the world. They keep it relatively, on the cheaper side. They're not. I don't know what it is. They're just they're Maine gentlemen. They understand kind of what's up. They ask questions. What are you going to use the boat for? What's going to happen here?
They're not just building to get the money.
My God. Yesterday we talked about the live wells, how we're going to plumb them. What do you need? And then Andrew, the owner up there, he just had all this in his head, and then he spouted it back at me, and he said, all right, we'll do this path. We'll go this path. We'll shoot it out this way on the port side. Do you want it shooting out the back? I said, no, our down bait. He goes, okay, no, we can't have that. And it's just like, he's a wizard. These guys are wizards up there. And I realize they should be. They're the experts. But I've heard of some bad builders up there. These guys are just, they're class act.
Yeah.
They're just awesome, awesome guys. So
Attention to detail.
yeah. Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I'm
you
excited
hear
to see
horror
that boat.
stories. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I've heard a few.
There's been a few awesome builds from that show.
Yeah.
Dave's boat's amazing.
Dave's boat's
Paul's
amazing.
boat's seems to be. I haven't seen the inside of it, but it looks amazing.
It's sick.
Yeah.
And that's just it. You work all your life to kind of get these opportunities. Number one, to be on the show, and then you try to leverage that with, these companies like air conditioning companies. I'm out there just like I'm on the phone. Hey, listen, I'd love to showcase your product. Is there any way I could get, a discount here and there? And I'm like every company you could imagine. I've been told no more times too. So it's not too good for your ego, but that's the only way to afford this. That's the only way for me to afford a new build, is to get discounts here and there. So that's worked out well.
Yeah. Same with our tackle.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have nearly the rods and reels we have.
Exactly right. Same.
Without
the
people
pen
backing us.
LT and
Right.
yeah, there's no way you could do it.
Chris is awesome.
Chris is the man.
He's awesome. Yeah.
He's the man. He's truly he takes customer input to products very seriously, which is what I like about him. It's like, if you want, Chris, if this doesn't work or this needs to be a half inch longer or whatever, he like truly will, take your feedback and implement it. Not a lot of places will do that.
That swim hook there with the very high gauge stainless, not the actual hook one, but the one with the cable latch.
Yeah.
I still have the piece of paper I wrote everything on, and he did it 100% to the T.
Yeah.
He had the handle one way, and I was like, oh no, can you turn the handle the other way? He did that. He goes, okay, how's this? Next day, I was like, this guy's awesome.
Yeah,
just
he's
awesome.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick.
We had a couple of phone calls to Chris last year. Chris, Taylor gaffed a fish and ripped the tail gaff out of his hands. I
lost 2
harpooned
gaffs.
a fish and didn't attach it to the dart line.
Are his gaffs good? Yeah.
Great.
Really?
We
I
fished-
gotta try though.
We
Yeah, they're
fish,
good.
or we use like the small little Winthrop hooks on his
nice.
gaffs.
Yeah.
If a fish brings them underwater, they don't come back up though.
Yeah.
We've learned.
Because they don't come out.
Right, because all the air comes out of them, but they
Yeah.
do float. Yeah. So if you go to tail gaff and lose them or whatever, they falls overboard, you will get your gaff back. But once they go 150 feet down, you lose them.
I use all of Chris's stuff, but we do use those Merida gaffs. Those are really
look sick,
good.
yeah.
I mean, LT is. I mean, those are the rod holders are the best out there.
Yeah,
I mean, they're the best. I just texted him the other day. I need a ton. So,
Nice.
yeah. But the gaffs, those Merida ones, those are the ones we use. But I do like that Winthrop hook.
Yeah.
I don't have
Yeah,
that.
so we have
I'm
one
gonna
of
try.
those, and we have a couple just the standard 2-inch
Yeah.
hooks, and they're
hook.
fine.
Yeah.
We have a couple of I think it's a 4-inch gap with a 6-inch gap, just for the smaller, 60 inches or whatever. Those have been great. Everything's been, good. Definitely don't want to use the big tail gaff for tail gaffing, but
Yeah,
Makes good stuff.
yeah,
he makes real good stuff. I mean, there's so many really good companies. It's come leaps and bounds in the last 6, 7, 8 years. It's just crazy. But
are you still using Real Easy?
yeah.
rods? Yeah,
Yep. How about you?
same.
Yep. I mean, I love them.
Yeah, they are
They're
awesome. Great blanks, all Winthrop, everything. The
and you
butts
just-
are sick.
Oh yeah, those Winthrop ones, the adjuster butts.
Yeah.
10X
they're
butts,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're great. Yeah, and I mean, once you get to know the Real Easy, those Tridents, you don't want to use anything else. You know exactly how they're going to perform when that fish is up and down. You know when you can put pressure on it, when it's almost touching the water, when you can't.
Right.
And I can't see myself using anything else.
I know.
It's tough.
It's
I'm willing to try new things, but within reason.
But when you get something that's purpose built like that, like that blank is made to catch giant bluefin.
That's
tunas,
right. That's right. Yep.
You really can't get much better than that.
The backbone is where it needs to be. Yep.
Yep. No, they make great stuff.
They do. Yep.
Dude, we've been going for
Too long.
hour and 45 minutes.
See, too long is when you're talking about tuna. I don't even think
There's no
that-
such
there's
thing.
no such thing.
no such
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, and especially in the off season, I think during the season we get a little burnt out. We're like, all right, we got to go
100%,
fishing tomorrow, so let's.
Right.
But off season, I miss it so much.
I know.
and it's stuff like this that really helps. It gets you.
Thinking.
I gotta go fishing again here.
Right.
So
It's right around the corner, though. 6 months from yesterday will be 4th of July.
Yep.
and that's part of the new boat thing too. Is that I really want to start fishing those Carolinas for that winter fishing.
And you'll be able to fish December pretty comfortably up here.
We're going, man. I
Yeah.
need to pay for that boat, so it has to be fishing.
Yeah.
It has to be fishing as much as it possibly can.
You think you'll squeak some canyon trips in there?
It's going to be canyon ready. We went last year with a good buddy of mine, Ray Liberatore, and another good buddy, John Boyagin. They listen to this, by the way. They love this podcast.
Awesome. Great.
Yeah. And I went with them. John and I went with them. My mate, Johnny Ice. We went with him, and we got one yellowfin, but we had a blue marlin come through. That's all I needed to see, man.
Yeah, those things are insane.
I
huh?
just the new boat is going to be all Gemlux all the way down, and
Nice.
Gemlux outriggers, and I just love their stuff. And he has, I think, a 39 Pursuit, beautiful boat, big marlin tower on it, and that's all I needed to see that one day. And I said, the new boat is going to be canyon ready. It's going to be canyon ready. It has to be. And
When it's on out there, it is
It's sick.
world
It is sick.
class.
It's
fishing.
world class 100%. It's better than anywhere in the world, in my opinion. And I mean, I've been out there a ton, but just in the last 4 or 5 years, not much at all, maybe twice. Before that, a ton.
Yeah.
But I miss it. I miss the hell out of it. I mean, we're just too busy, all of us, where we are.
It's so difficult.
Yeah, it's so difficult, but
If you're really gonna do it a lot, like you got to keep the boat on that side of the Cape or on the islands or something. But
yep.
still enjoy it.
Yeah.
You're enjoying it a little less and less now that you have a couple little ones and you have a lot of shit going on. But
Yeah.
You have a couple little ones now?
Yeah, I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Oh, God, I thought you only had the... Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
One
buddy.
of them is taking dumps on the floor.
Good.
So we've
That'll
been
be on the wall
potty training her for the last. This is day 5.
Yeah.
So that's been interesting.
Show her the 5-gallon bucket.
Yeah, she's straight up. She's taken 2 dumps on the floor, and she's pissed on the floor. I mean, that's.
Do you want me to show you how to put a diaper on? I'm the wrong one.
No, we did the.
I'm only kidding.
We did the quit cold turkey scene. Run around basically naked in the
awesome.
house, and they just once they start, you're pulling. She's doing good now. Yesterday was 0 accidents.
I
a
know
dog.
I'm
nothing
impressed.
about how to raise kids. So
Really?
I have I don't. It's not my place to ever say anything about it.
do you rub her face
All I can
in
say
it?
is you're doing a good job.
No, I don't rub her face in her fist though.
Yeah. No.
Look what you did. Look what you did.
No.
Oh, that's funny.
Bad girl.
No, she's doing good. It's stressful as all hell.
I bet it is.
You get the 1-year-old basically wants to climb up the walls and barely can walk. He's like just learning how to walk, so he's just smashing his face on everything.
boy and girl?
Yeah.
Nice. What's his name?
Wyatt.
Awesome.
Wyatt, yeah.
That's awesome.
And Finley's 3. She's good. She's a riot.
That's great.
He's gonna be an absolute brick shit house. Fisherman, crazy. She's definitely like more reserved. Princess. But my wife kind of is a princess too, but she also fishes and she's got both sides of her.
Yeah, she's cool, man.
Yeah.
She's cool. You both got really cool wives. We all got cool wives.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's why we can do what we can do offshore. I tell you, all the thanks goes to them. It really does.
It does.
Like I couldn't do what I do out there without my wife. She's a badass. So yeah, I don't have any kids, but she works her butt off. She's awesome.
It's awesome.
It's important. Have that solid base back home for sure.
And I do, and you guys do, and it's everything, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The older you get too, the more you just realize how much it means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Bob,
Starting to
thank you so much, man.
Thank you guys. I love listening to this, and it's great to be a part of it. This is
it's
cool
fun.
what you guys do.
So we're basically just running through different people, and eventually we'll circle back and start doubling up some of these and getting into
Absolutely.
even different questions. But the first one's always about the person. It's been fun.
Funny
Yeah.
stories,
Yeah,
sharing information,
right.
talking about pizza,
I learned a lot.
I still
already.
haven't been up there. I got to go up there,
Yeah.
sample some of that.
Yeah, we always say stuff like that, but we should have Weber come up, and because that's his favorite spot. All of us go up. Yeah. We'll have a pizza party. We'll do it.
How do people follow you on social, well, aside from Wicked Tuna and season 11 coming out this?
Season 11 is going to start.
When's that start?
I think it might be the first week in March, but it's 20 episodes. We'd love to see it move back to February, so that we're fishing when it ends.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
around the 4th of July when it ends. I think it should be before that, like June or else. Because we're so busy at that time.
Right,
We're
you
not
wanna be able to
yeah. But
enjoy
I
it.
also think that people are in summertime at that time, and their focus really isn't on TV. So
Right.
around here anyways. But
Yeah.
so it'll probably start end of February, early March, and end around June or July. But so
What about charters and how to book with you and all that sort of thing?
Sorry, so I'm Captain Bob Cook on Instagram. I think it's FV Fat Tuna on Twitter. I'm not very good at Twitter.
I'm not either.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
we
not
don't,
good
use,
at
we
that.
don't use Twitter.
Facebook, it's Fat Tuna Charters. And if you want to book, fattunacharters.com.
Awesome.
So, yeah. And there's a calendar right on there. So all the questions that, clients might have, it's all on there as well. Our availability is on there. We use a company called Attraction Suite that does all that. I think it was you who asked me about that last year.
Yeah, I think I shot you.
Yeah.
Taylor, I can't remember.
So we use it.
Attraction Suite.
Attraction Suite, and I could give you her name. It's actually awesome. Clients don't call you anymore. They just go right on there. It's great. I use it, Carraro uses it, and Marciano uses it.
Nice.
Now. So yeah, works out really well. We could talk about that
absolutely.
kind of later, but it takes all the guesswork out of it. It makes it flow a lot easier. Automatically generated emails go to clients, stuff like that. So
That's
it's
cool.
Interesting.
And that's just the calendar on the site. So if you go on and you look at the calendar, you'll see kind of what that's all about. But that's been kind of a game changer for us. They only get the cell number like 3 days before we depart. And that's kind of the weather questions and stuff like that.
That's the personal conversation prior to.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because if not, you get inundated by a lot.
Sure, you guys would for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You don't want your phone number on.
I had to take it off everything. And it was because of season 9 when it was the us against them thing.
Right.
There was so much hate. It was incredible.
I believe it.
Yeah. But now it's just kind of flick the switch and it doesn't even matter. So
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore. It's
good hate though. If they're hating you, you're doing something right.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
That's a good way to end it.
Yeah.
So we're going to end it right now.
Yeah, you're doing something right.
Exactly. We'll end you guys on OG's 3 words of wisdom. Remember, you can't catch them if you don't have a hook in the water. Always trust your instincts. And the last one, you'll just have to keep listening. Stay tight, everybody. Thanks, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. I had a ball.
Thank you very much for tuning in to the SeaBros Fishing Podcast. If you would like more information about today's guest, our episode, and show sponsors, or if you want to order hats and apparel, please visit our website at SeaBrosFishing.com. You can also stay up to date on all the latest SeaBros Fishing content and podcast episodes by following us on Instagram at SeaBros Fishing. Finally, to book a trip with us through our family-run charter fishing company, please visit MassBayGuides.com or see our latest updates and fishing reports by following Mass Bay Guides on Instagram and Facebook.